Yo, 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 what? Oh, my bad. Ooh, the microphone. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's too much scotch in that glass. Anyway. Yo, 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 what up, guys? I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's probably the most advertised episode of my podcast that I've ever done. I turned 30 at midnight today. Today's July 15th. And, yeah. There's a couple of questions in here that required prep work that I did not do. So, sorry about that in advance. It's been a really hellish week. As a matter of fact, some of it is in relation to this question right here. So, I don't know the exact number of questions. I got a bunch of questions. I think it was like 37 when I tallied it all up. And if you are watching the stream live somewhere, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I will answer those as well. I would appreciate that, actually. We're just going to go until, there's no more questions left to be answered. So I will be doing a AMA for my birthday. I turned 30 years old, and as a matter of fact, you know what the weird part about this is? Big milestone as well. This is the 100th video that's been uploaded to the YouTube channel, which, by the way, you can watch this stream live on YouTube as well. I'll be monitoring that. Sorry, had to close the chat real quick. I must try and hold on a second. Hopefully my phone doesn't do something stupid. Hopefully my computer doesn't do something stupid and start playing audio from my stream that's live right now. It's not necessary. All right, cool. It's muted. So, yeah. Some of these I want to chop up and make into TikToks for sure. Others, I'm just, looking forward to answering. Some of these are really good questions, overall, and I appreciate that. Anybody who wrote in a question, I appreciate you as a person, because you did not have to do that, and you took some time out of your day to help a small Twitch/YouTube streamer out by giving me some stuff to talk about. So I appreciate that. Yeah, so turned 30 years old. Feel relatively normal. I'm not gonna be drinking. That this is the second glass and probably will be the last one that I have. I have if you check out this podcast on a regular basis, I play Major League Quidditch, and yes, Quidditch, like that Quidditch. If you've never watch the show before, don't follow me on social media, which you should, by the way. If you've never watched the show or checked me out on any other form of platform or anything like that, definitely check out. You know what? Forget it. Anyway, you know where to find me. The Ashton Forever on Instagram. The Ashton Forever on TikTok and on Instagram. On Twitter, you can follow me at FB, the letters F and B _playbook, and yeah, I think that's the only other places I want you guys to find me. So that's pretty much it. Follow me there. If you want to follow my personal Twitter account, it is at the Ashton J. So, bro, I had somebody tell me today that I am not my voice, I was mumbling, and I found that to be hilarious because I don't think I've ever mumbled unintentionally a single day in my entire life. So I think maybe that person needs to go get their hearing checked. Birthday AMA stream. Yeah, man. It's a lot of stuff going on right before this fucking series tomorrow. I'm going to tell you that much right now. I got a player. I got one of our key players, one of our best scorers, out with COVID, and then got another one who's been suspended by the league. So that's fun. Who would have thought? Anyway, birthday AMA stream is live right now. It's been one hell of a day, I'll tell you that much. Sorry, trying to get this social media stuff out of the way before we get started. That's a Twitch link. It's not where we want to send people, Ashton. Here we go. Yeah, man. Birthday parties tomorrow after we finish playing. And to be honest with you, it's probably gonna be me and my girlfriend just drinking at a bar. I invited all my friends, but my party was so late And if you know anything about getting older in life, last second plans are basically a no. People are gonna very politely be like, "Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to make it, man." And you know that they're not gonna make it. So people got shit to do. They got plans, and then like I got teammates who are not gonna be available because they have like friends who also have a July 15th birthday and a July 16th birthday, which apparently is like super common. Anyway, trying to get these tweets out, trying to get these tweets off, baby. You know how I go. Podcast. Ooh, man. Anyway, that's all I got. Hashtag Twitch. Hashtag YouTube. I can't wait to talk about the thing that I can't talk about right now. It's gonna be fucking lit. Feels like I've been on a slow decline energy-wise lately. No matter how much I sleep, I wake up tired, which I think is a part of getting older. Sometimes I wake up pretty well rested, but other times I wake up, I'm tired for a little bit, I shake it off, and I'm able to go out there and do what I need to do, which is nice, instead of having it lingering all the time. But yeah, I'm still definitely a night person. Like, waking up early is not a thing for me. Staying up until 4 a.m., not a problem. Not a problem at all. Feel free, if you are watching the stream live at home right now, feel free to drop questions in the chat. Sorry, I'm posting this in multiple places. And then I gotta take a photo real quick for fucking Instagram. Yeah, it's hard being famous, guys. You know, it's hard having like 7,000 people follow you combined across social media. Oh, by the way, let's play a game. If you're in the chat right now, or if you're watching this afterwards, so this is inappropriate, so don't be around people when you're doing this. But check out this Instagram account called, wow, they got up to 1.5 million. That's dope. Check out this Instagram account called, you probably already follow it, called Alpha Channeling. So it's Alpha and then CHANNELING, Alpha Channeling, just like channeling energy and channeling thoughts. They make sex art, and it's very interesting to see who in your life you didn't know followed this account, because like Killer Mike follows this account, Julian Edelman follows this account, and they literally just post sex art. So like they post like legitimately it's just people fucking, and like people, you know, giving each other all kinds of things in different poses and stuff like that, but it's all paintings. So it's actually really cool. You learn a lot about your friends based off who follows that account and who doesn't. And also, if you know some friends that would enjoy that, make sure you share it, bro. Make sure you share it. I enjoy it. It's a very pleasant thing that pops up in my stream, in my feed. Anyway, sorry, let me take this photo real quick. Sorry. Seeing how awkward it is to be a person on the internet trying to make it famous, trying to make it big, which is obviously what I'm trying to do in every single facet of my life, trying to make it big, right? All right, cool. Man, I remember doing this last year, and it was just straight. I was like pretty gone, or pretty close to it. Actually, I was good up until, because I had to get. I was like, it was happen. I started the stream because I had so much shit going on. I started the stream at like 9 o'clock or something, or like, no, it wasn't 9 o'clock. It had to have been like 10:30, and I had to get all my 30. If you guys don't know, I have a tradition of getting 30 shots in before. I have a tradition of getting however many years old I am, I get an ounce of alcohol in for every single year that I've been alive. So this year I have to do 30. I'm doing it tomorrow after I finish playing Quidditch, because I feel like it would be disrespectful and a poor decision to be made if you're a head coach and you show up to a series hungover because you wanted to drink a bunch because it was your birthday, when I can just very easily just wait until after the series and have the entire weekend to drink. Obviously, I need to drink. Obviously, I have other things that I need to consume and stuff like that, but I'm definitely going to focus and prioritize the team over me having a good birthday party. You know what I mean? So, and of course, I'm still going to have a good birthday. It's just going to be afterwards. It's not that hard. It's not hard at all. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. That's what the plan is, bro. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get the link from my phone for this stream, and then we'll get this started and popping. Trying to do a better job of starting the stream early and then figuring out, and then figuring stuff out. So as I go along, let's see. YouTube stream. Let's go. Can I do more than one in one video? That would be dope. I think I can. Hold on. Are we about to learn something right now? That's super stupid. Anyway, if you got stuff you want to put in the chat, any questions you want to ask, feel free to. Also, I am drinking, which means, of course, you don't need my permission to have a good time, right? I'm drinking one more glass, and then we're going to power through these questions and have a good time, man. Like, that's what it's really going to come down to. I can't wait to get through some of these questions. Some of them are, like, Quidditch related because I realize now, like, later on in life, like, there's a collection of people that don't. Oh, you can only add one. Never mind. There's a collection of people that don't know anything about me outside of Quidditch. So they ask like Quidditch questions and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this should be interesting. Twitch, boy, sports. Anyway, all right, we did it. We put it on all of the. All right, that is sorry. People sending me stuff. Sorry, so basically my birthday is very quickly turned into this bombardment of people wishing me happy birthday. It's a product of constantly trying to gain not notoriety, trying to become a media personality. Anyway, all right, man, let's get to it. I'm going to change the question that's posted based off of the question that we're on. And this first question was like very topical. Some people even laughed at it because I got all these questions off of a question box that I posted on Instagram. Shout out to everybody who did. I'm going to mention their names. Hopefully they're okay with that. None of them are like insulting or anything like that. But I wanted to mention people's names because they were kind enough to go out of their way to send me a question. And they were kind enough to go out of the way to send me a question that I was going to answer that helps me out a lot on this show and makes this enjoyable and makes this a lot of fun. So thoughts on going from player to player coach. I'll give you some background to this. I play a random sport called Quidditch, and in that sport there are players and there are player coaches. There's very rarely in a situation where there's just a coach. I am a player coach. I was a player coach for the Houston Cosmos, which is my local club team here, and I am the player coach for the League City Legends, which is a Major League Quidditch team. And I will tell you this much. It is so currently right now my team is 0-6 on the season, and they're obviously that pisses me the fuck off. And it's not any individual person's fault. As a matter of fact, I've been telling everybody on the team it's 100% my fault because we weren't prepared. Because we weren't prepared, and that was a product and the fault of me as a coach. So it's not fun. I'll tell you that much right now. I even though not much has really changed except the League City Legends stuff, the team that I play for historically has been pretty good and has been a title contender a couple of times. Not as of late, but the Cosmos thing. So the Houston Cosmos are a club team that is mostly comprised of Houston close by players and stuff like that. And I have recently, as a player who desires to win, I've been asking myself, what do I need to do to be able to win games? And I've been working on myself physically, and I've also been working on my mental approach to the game in terms of strategy and also my mental toughness as a whole, because there was times where there would be people on our team that, and this is years ago, people on our team would give up before games would start, right? Because they were like, oh, these guys are so much better than us. There's no way we can beat them. And I find that to be one of the weakest mindsets ever in all of sports, because it's true. There's been exactly 0 seconds. I'm skipping so many frames right now. What the hell? Why am I dropping frames? Hold on. I am dropping so many frames right now. Closing everything. Yo, what just happened? Am I still on? All right, my stream says I'm still up. Hopefully I am. Oh, my dad just called me. That's probably not the greatest thing on the face of the planet. Anyway, I dropped a bunch of frames just now, and then it stopped. No, it's still going. That's the most frames I've dropped in like 3 months. That's so weird. I'm sorry about that. But going back to the original question, it's been an adventure, man, because a lot of, I thought it would be, the goal is to win. The goal is to win championships. That's not necessarily everybody's goal in Quidditch. And I find that weird, because it's like you're going to spend all this money to travel, you're going to spend all this money in gas, and you're going to spend all this time in practice and training and stuff like that, but your goal isn't to win every single game that you play unless somebody just like rolls over and gives you the game, and I find that super frustrating at times. So that's been an adjustment. That was a thing that happened on my club team that I had to work on. I think a lot of the players on the team wanted to win, and then there were certain players who didn't. Like, there were certain players that the result of the game didn't matter, and it matters a lot to me. I'll give you a glimpse of like what I do for like preparation and stuff, right? Like, I watch film, I study what my opponents do, and in some ways I copy it, and in other ways I modify what they do. Jesus Christ. Why am I dropping frames? I legitimately am dumbfounded by this right now. I disconnected my phone from the Wi-Fi and everything. Hold on. Whatever. We're going to power through. It's super frustrating because I normally record at this time, and the frame drop thing is super annoying. Anyway, I had to come to grips with the fact that there are people who have different mindsets, who have different approaches, who have different mindsets about everything, right? And that was really tough for me personally. What's going on now in terms of like coaching the League City Legends, people like pay to be on, people tried out, and when they made the team, they had to pay to be on the team, right? So there's people that are bought in, but there are also people who can't make it to every single practice. So they're missing out on days when we install different formations and different stuff like that. So to mitigate that, I've made, instead of having like instead of having like a singular meeting where everybody has to be there at a certain time and all that kind of stuff like that, I took it upon myself to like record my breakdown of what the opponent does, because I think that that's an effective manner. Break down what the opponent does, how we counter it, utilizing our strategy, and then recording every single play that we run, recording every approach to it, detailing each position. And I'm gonna be honest, like, since it's to Ask Me Anything, it's been tough the last couple of months because there's a set of players that are watching it, and then there's a set of players who aren't and expecting to play. So that's tough because, I can't The only thing I can do is like come to their house at the time frame that they are free and available to do things, and explain it to them verbatim in their face. There are people who just like aren't putting the effort in, and you would think that, and this is something that happened between both of my teams, so it's like a little frustrating because, you put the time in, and other people aren't putting the time in, and then they're telling you that you're wrong, and that's always tough. There are adjustments that I have to make based off the athleticism we have on our team, because it's so weird because we have a really, I would say we have a high level of people who are athletic. There's a whole ego thing that goes on, and I think this is a thing that happens on every single team. There are people who think they can do stuff that they have not proven that they can do consistently on the field. When you want to help people get better in terms of their individual skills, they're reluctant to do that because they think that they're already amazing. There are people who come from different athletic backgrounds. There are people who come from no athletic background, and you have to find a way to get them all on the path to the same point. Because there's a certain, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you about, like, in one summer, you can make somebody just as good as an athlete of a person who's been playing sports their entire life. And there are people who've been playing sports their whole life that are not athletes, right? There are people who just play sports. Jesus Christ, man. There are people who just play sports. So that's been a big change for me. It's been a really big struggle for me in terms of like figuring out how to get people to buy in on what you're trying to get them to do. Figuring out how to get people to believe in you, despite the results that are on the board, right? Figuring out how to get people to focus on the ultimate goal, because there are some people who have already decided what's going to happen at the end of this season without playing out the entirety of the season, and that's a little frustrating because you have to like figure out how to inspire a person that's that claims to be playing a game that they love, right? That's always been tough. People like to have fun. I feel like our team has a lot of fun. I feel like a lot of people on our team are cool with each other, even though we all come from different places. Like some of us are club players that play club ball completely, and then there are some of us who play college ball, and it feels like there hasn't been any beef between individual people throughout the course of the summer, which is nice. It's really nice, actually, because some people get so wrapped up in themselves that they destroy a team in the process of being wrapped up in themselves. So that being said, it's been a journey, man. It's a whole nother. I would never consider myself to be a good leader. I don't consider myself to be a good leader. I know that, and this is not to be that guy, but I know that me being black is a factor in terms of like whether or not people believe what I'm saying a good chunk of the time, especially since I'm a head coach in a predominantly white sport. I know I'm not like I'm not the most qualified guy for the job, but from what I understood, I was the only person who wanted the job, and I think that goes a long way. I feel like I've pushed or put the team in a place that it's never been before. I have a team that, this year's League City Legends has more strategy involved with how they play than anything, than any team prior to it as well, and I think that's going to help us in the long run. I got to do my part, because the messed up part is, the really dark part about this whole thing is like, it seems like all the effort that I put into the team really hurts me as an athlete. I think some people who've been watching this podcast, they can tell you, I basically have like regained all the weight that I had lost like a couple of years ago. I had gotten down to like 305 pounds. And I think the last time I checked, I was like 370 or something like that, and it's really sad for me personally. It's a battle that I fight every single day. Not that I have like I don't have a negative viewpoint of myself, but I think I've gotten past that, which is like such a nice thing to be able to say. I've gotten past like the whole like hating on myself kind of deal. Oh my God, man. If you're out there watching, I appreciate it, because this is fucking ridiculous with the drop frames. Oh, man. I'm not ending my stream, bro. Anyway. Yeah, like, I don't have, like, a negative view of myself as a person. But the fact of the matter is like, I know that I should be in better shape than I actually am. And I train with the practices that I coach, I train like 4 times a week and don't see results. My eating habits could be a lot better, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have the eating, like I don't have the perceived eating habits of a person that's like over 300 pounds. Like I don't eat 4 pizzas a day. I eat vegetables every single day. I drink over 124 ounces of water a day. I run twice a week. I do agility training once a week. I do speed training twice a week, plus the cardio I do. I play basketball every single week on Wednesday, and I still kind of like exist right here, man. You know, I got to do better for me personally because the coaching thing is really taken time that I could spend focusing on myself and redirected it towards the team. And hopefully I can figure out the balance of being able to do both, because I need to do both, because I need to still be I need to be the player that was on the path that I was on before like the pandemic happened, because I think the pandemic definitely set me back drastically. I was working out in my backyard during the pandemic, but the fact of the matter is that it definitely threw me off track to being to where I was gonna be. And I see photos of myself from like a couple of years ago, and I don't even look like the same person. But overall, man, it's been tough. I'm not even gonna lie. It's hard. It really is, especially at times when you feel like you're doing everything right and you're not reaching people, and you got to come up with like 70 different ways to explain the same concept to 70 different people and hopefully get them all on the same page. You got to call people out, and you got to call people out when it's necessary and do it in a positive way, because there's certain people who don't perceive like basic sports coaching as basic sports coaching. They take it to heart, and you got to do better as a coach, right? And I keep telling myself I got to do better so somebody else can do better than me, right? And I think that's a big part of what I've been thinking about this summer. And obviously, my team is 0-6 currently right now, and my greatest fear, and it's been something that's been weighing on me a lot, and it's the fact that I'm gonna if we don't pick it up, we'll be the first Legends team to not make the playoffs ever, and I'll be the worst coach in Legends history by results. And it'll make it seem like all the effort is for naught, but I was gonna put the work in and the hard work in regardless of the situation, right? I think that every step that I've taken this season has been to help the team get better, to help the team get on the same track, and to help the team win. But at some point, you know, you got to get results, and I may not get the results, and I got to take what comes from not getting those results, and that means being deemed the worst coach in Legends history, which is like a real thing that could happen to me, and I have to embrace that that's a possibility for me and use that as motivation to do better. So yeah, shout out to David Bannis who sent that in. One of the one of the few Quid people that I talk to on a regular basis, but see like once a year. Shout out to David Bannis, always looking out. A person that does really well in a person that does really well, plays really well, and I don't understand why he wastes his time talking to scrubs like me. Sorry, here we go. I'm just gonna type the next question in. Ugh. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat for the AMA. If you got any questions you want to ask or anything like that, please put them in the chat. I will answer them throughout the course of this stream, and we're just gonna go until all these questions are gone. This is question number 2. And I'm trying to do this specifically so that I can turn these into TikToks later in case I actually say something funny instead of something super sad like I just said. Or say something that doesn't relate to like one of the fears that has been creeping into my mind for the past like couple months. Anyway, question number 2. This one's from my cousin. My cousin who I consider to be like a big sister for me. So for everybody on the stream, it said, or if you're not looking at the stream, it says, "You are the best. When you make it, can I hold a few dollars?" So this is my cousin who has her own business and is also very successful, Tuskegee graduate. She does not need money from me. She wrote this in reference to something that a job that I applied for and heard some positive news back about recently. So shout out to her, always being supportive. And she makes sure I'm not like a super religious person or anything like that. I believe that religion has done great horrors and done great things at the same time for some people. And she has made sure that she's made sure that she knows that I'm in her prayers. Like, she prays for me on a regular basis, and trust me, I need all the help I can get. I really do. So I appreciate that. Shout out Brittany on that one. This next one, a couple people wrote some goofy ones in, but I will still answer them nonetheless. Here's question number 3. Question number 3 for my birthday AMA. Hold on, let me take a sip right here. It's quite simple. The question is, why are you so handsome? Quite simple. I hydrate. I've got really good genetics. My mom is an amazing person, so obviously, I keep my edge up crispy, is because obviously you guys could tell the last couple of months where I just didn't get a haircut for the first 2 months of summer. But I wake up. And honestly, man, I'll take this question in a weird direction. Why are you so handsome? By the way, this was not written by my girlfriend. This was written by Brandon Cubana, who is a teammate of mine for the League City Legends, obviously being a goof, but nonetheless, shout out to dudes who compliment other dudes, because some dudes don't know how to take compliments like your boy. And we got to work on it. Some dudes get like one compliment a year, and it makes their entire lifetime. So some dudes get too many compliments. Let's be for real. Nonetheless, why are you so handsome? Honestly, man, I used to think I was, based off of my interactions with women, just in general, I used to think I was ugly as fuck. I used to think I was like legitimately not a good looking person. And then as time went on, I used to blame it on how fat I was and all that kind of stuff like that. And a lot of people, and I've like gone back and looked at text messages in my life, gone back and looked at text messages with people who I matched with on Tinder, who actually I'm still like really cool with or whatever, or still cool with to the point where they follow me on social media, right? I've gone back and I've looked at text messages, and it's just like you can see the insecurity just dripping off of the text messages about like, oh man, like, if you know anybody who likes fat black guys, like, let me know, kind of deal. Like, didn't need to tear myself down in the process of doing that, right? And I feel like it took me a really long time to get to the point where I stopped referring to myself and defining myself by my weight, right? And realizing, you realize one thing too, the standard that the world holds women to is significantly higher than the standard that men are held to in terms of attractiveness. And then on top of that, like, women are not nearly as shallow as men on aggregate. On like aggregate, women are not nearly as shallow as men are. And for that, guys who like may not look, guys who don't have like the 8-pack, guys who don't work out every single fucking day, guys who may not look necessarily the best, are attractive to women for who they are as a person, or who they can become as a person in a lot of different ways. And on top of that, you also have to realize, just like how guys are attracted to different types of women, I feel like a lot of dudes think that women are only attracted to one type of guy. And that's honestly, that's an incel mentality, right? Like, to try and tell women who they are and are not attracted to, despite the fact that like not every single guy that is married, which you would imagine that in the grand scheme of things, marriage is supposed to be a symbol of like, this person is amazing on all these different levels. And the incel mentality is like, oh, I'll never be able to hit on chicks, or like, I'll never be able to attract women because I don't hit the gym like 7 times a day for 4 hours a day, all that kind of shit like that. And that's a mentality that I wouldn't say I never hated women for who they were attracted to. I used to be upset that like guys who I knew were not great guys would always get the chicks hollering at them. And a lot of the time, yes, sometimes it had to do with physical attraction. There's no question about that whatsoever. But most of the time, it's just like they know how to not tear themselves down. Like at the end of the day, you're trying to sell yourself to somebody as to how attractive you are. And if I'm gonna tell you this right now, like if they having a conversation with you for the most part, at the very least, they don't find you to be a creepy person, and that goes a long way with a lot of people. Like to not feel like, hey, I feel safe enough to have a conversation with this person, and then proceed to, throughout the course of the conversation, tear yourself down. Like I'm number one when it comes to like self-deprecation. I talk about how I'm a bad, like I just talked about it like 30 seconds ago, right? About how I'm a bad coach and how I could be the worst coach in Legends history. Do I believe that in some way, shape, or form? Yes. Is that insecurity? Yes. Yes, it is, without question. But the fact of the matter is, man, it doesn't, like, guys, like let somebody else eliminate you from the running. Don't eliminate yourself. Is the thing that I'll say. And then all of a sudden, I was good looking. I will point this out. I went to a school, and I realized this like way later in life, right? It took me hold on. My pops are not in the camera angle, and that's not what the ancestors want, you know. My pops are like not in the camera angle. The ancestors would be ashamed. There we go. Anyway. But yeah, nah, man, like the biggest thing that I take away from it is like that's a really innocuous question. Like, why are you so handsome? Like, I think about the times where I semi-hated myself. Never to the point where like I hurt myself, always to the point where I insulted myself constantly, right? Even in my own head when nobody was around. And I could not, and to this day, it's part of the reason that I suck at taking compliments. If you're one of the people who like knows me in real life that's watching this stream, if you ever given me a compliment, I immediately like deflect it away, and I'm trying to do better about not doing that. And I have to actively tell my brain like, hey, no, say thank you for that. Somebody said something nice about you that they noticed about you. Say thank you for that. It works a little bit. It works sometimes, but it's a slow process to deprogram that. But I remember when I was a lot younger, like I never thought on a single day on this planet that I would be able to sit here and consider myself like wake up some days and be like, damn, you looking good, dog. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I catch myself in the camera angle when we're doing the show, or when I'm doing the show, and I'm like, we looking good today. You know what I mean? Never would have thought I'd be that person, right? But yeah, that's question number 3. Why are you so handsome? And then I went on a diatribe of how I've slowly been recovering from hating myself. I'm sure that's what people came here to hear. But shout out to Brandon for sending that in. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. See, we're working on taking compliments. But yeah, no, secret to being handsome. Keep your skin moisturized. Guys, wash every part of your body. If you're one of those people right now that's watching this stream, no shade. I'm not here to call out any names or anything like that. If you're one of those people that don't wash your legs when you get in the shower, maybe we start off by washing and like taking like our hand, applying some force with soap in between it and a towel in between it to wipe off the dust, the dirt, and get that off of our bodies. Then, you know, I guarantee you, you have nothing to lose by doing that. Maybe potentially risking hurting your back subsequently, but for the most part, you got nothing to lose on that. This one is a sports one. We got our first sports one here. Ooh, man, hold on. There we go. I wish I just like copied and pasted these, but that would have taken forethought, which I didn't put in here. I'm gonna take a time right now. Take a little sippy sip. We're on question number 4. Question number 4 of the AMA. Let me square that up for you. Question number 4. Who's winning the World Cup and why is it Brazil? Shout out to Roberto Malta. 1 for graduating with your master's degree, bro. Roberto Malta is a Quidditch player who originally is from Brazil, immigrated to America. He's been reffing here. I don't think he plays for a team actively right now, but shout out to him. He posts about history all the time. I am a person that values history greatly. Yeah, I value history quite a lot. And so trying to learn it and understanding how history is biased in so many different ways, mainly because it was written by the people who didn't get their heads chopped off after during the course of a war, has changed the way that the world looks today, right? How history has proven the types of lies that have been told, the history has proven, like the types of hustles that have been utilized are the same ones that we see today. It's important, but he's a history guy, so I appreciate that. I love talking to him about it. He also talks to me about soccer. Most of the time, it's like way over my head because honestly, I don't pay attention to global soccer like that. I pay attention to like the tippity top of the mountaintop when it comes to global soccer. But nonetheless, he gives me really good stories. He gives me really good stories to talk about on the show. So any soccer story or any football story you hear on the Broke Boy Sports Podcast probably came from Roberto. Sorry. Shout out question number 4. Who's winning the World Cup and why is it Brazil? I think he knows good and goddamn well Brazil ain't winning no fucking World Cup. Obviously, my money goes with France doing it again. France has been deadly, man. I'm interested. Well, I think Italy didn't qualify. But yeah, I'm banking on France, man. One, probably going to be one of the blackest teams in the World Cup. And they are a team of immigrants, which I like a lot, unlike certain radio host here in America, Doug Gottlieb. If that wasn't the most subtly racist thing I've ever heard of. If you guys don't know, Doug Gottlieb is a historically fucked up sports radio host. He gets a lot of attention, which is why he gets to keep his job. He, after France won the World Cup, I think pointed out how he's like, France just has a team, has a bunch of immigrants on their team. None of those people are actually French people, which is the whitest, most Americanist thing to ever say ever, right? Like to be like our country that is built upon immigrants working hard and becoming successful, having those immigrants be like the others, even though they have like French passports, they are French kids, they are French children who grew up in French refugee camps, eventually grew up in in France, the country. But they'll never be actually French, which is funny because that would mean that nobody's actually ever French, which would mean that everybody is French. Anyway, probably going to go with France, bro. Not going to lie. Just off the strength of Mbappe, just out of respect for Mbappe. Going with him and the French. Neymar playing for Brazil this year? Or did he break his leg magically again? Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for question number 4. Moving on. If you got any World Cup predictions, drop it in the chat, please do so. This one I'm not gonna type out. I'm just gonna read it out because I think Maddie meant something different, and I have no idea what she actually meant. But I know it wasn't this, or maybe it was. You know when you, and it's just because sometimes you do. That's it. That's what the question she wrote is. You know when you, and it's just because sometimes you do. It do be like that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out Maddie, getting deep with this. Ooh, man, this is a tough one. Here we go. This is a tough one. If you're out there and you're not in your 20s anymore, whew, Jesus Christ, that hurt to say out loud. Here we go. Type it in the next question. This is question number 5, so we can keep track of it. All right, get this one queued up so everybody can read it. Question number 5 for the birthday AMA is, what's your favorite thing that you learned in your... Jesus Christ, man. These fucking frames. Let's see. 10 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. It's happening every 2 minutes. It just dropped another frame. What the fuck? What is going on? Do you need to tell me something? Does my PC need to tell me something? I feel like it's trying to tell me something. Shout out to everybody who's out there watching this, what is shaping up to be one of the worst streams ever. in terms of like drop frame rates on this show in a long time. Anyway, other stuff, man. So we got question number 5. What's your favorite thing that you learned in your 20s? Also, happy birthday. Shout out. This is Ilse. She and I have known each other since middle school. Yeah, like she and I have known each other since middle school. We've known each other throughout high school and through adulthood to this day. Shout out to her. She's having a great time right now. She's like living her life. She's in a happy relationship, and I'm very happy for her because she had to deal with a lot of not so great people who pretended they wanted to be in a relationship with her, which is one of the strangest things that a human being can do, but happens way too often in the world. Favorite thing that I learned in my 20s, Jesus. Man, I just know that my 20s was, man, I guess this is important because I was talking about this earlier with my mom. My mom gave me a birthday card. She gives me a birthday card every single year. Most of the time they have like a personal note written into them and stuff like that, and I actually keep that in my wallet in one of the occasions because it made me cry when I read it. But turning 30, still chasing the dream of becoming a sportscaster. I've had like I never doubted myself up until I turned like 29, I think. And I now doubt myself in terms of like, hey man, at some point you got to give up on this. Right? And I keep telling myself that, but there's also a part of my brain that's just like the kid Ashton who's like, hey man, like you really don't have to give up on this. You can keep trying to do this until like the day that you die, bro. And I can. I really could. One day, if I do enough of these episodes and I do enough of these podcasts, eventually somebody will see it. And I believe that concept. I also believe in my skill level. I think there's something to be said about I figured out how to block out the negativity sometimes to keep moving forward. So, for instance, this podcast, right? This podcast goes through all kinds of drama all the time. Like right now, I'm having the frame rate drop off for the first time in literally months. I'm dropping frames left and right for like no explicable reason, and it's super frustrating. I genuinely don't get, like, I haven't had a single thing go viral that I've posted on TikTok. I've had a bunch of stuff pop off like very smallly, right? I have people that follow me on Instagram. I have people that follow me on Twitter, and my Twitter following is just like not super active. Like whoever out there follows me doesn't interact with me all that much. And it can get discouraging in the sense that it feels like, oh man, I feel like I'm posting stuff into the void all the time. And I don't get retweets as often as I used to because I used to tweet it. If you guys don't know, I used to be a high school sports reporter for like 5 years. And I used to tweet something and it would at bare minimum get like 5 retweets. And now I tweet and I get like almost nothing. Like I rarely ever get retweeted by anyone. Despite the fact that I have fewer followers, but I have more people in the world of sports media that follow me than ever. And I get discouraged because I feel like, once again, I'm here. Like, I don't make a ton of money. I don't make any money off this podcast. I don't make a ton of money with my other job, right? And the way my high school gig ended so abruptly because I refused to let somebody take advantage of me, right, for much longer. I refused to let somebody continue to take advantage of me. And so it effectively ended my high school sports reporting career because I felt like I had sacrificed a lot and people were asking me to sacrifice even more when it was all said and done. But the one thing that I feel like that I've developed in my 20s, and this goes hand in hand with my friendship thing that I'll talk about later, is the ability to continue to do something wholeheartedly despite my doubts. I don't think anybody can go back and look at any podcast that I've posted recently and be like, oh man, it looks like he's half-assing it. There's never been a single show that I've half-assed, right? There's been shows that have not been good because I'm still trying to get to the point where I'm a high-quality broadcaster on a regular basis. But there is 100,000% never been a single podcast where I didn't do it with my whole heart, where I didn't put all of my effort into it. And that is despite the fact that as soon as the camera goes off, as soon as this ring light turns off, when I'm walking around, I, in the back of my mind, have had multiple times where it's just like, you are wasting your time in my head. That I tell myself because I've heard other people say it. And then I realize, like, nah, man, like, we're having fun, Ashton. Like, we're having fun doing this. Even if nobody ever watches a single one of these episodes from beginning to end, you are having fun. And I feel like as I get older, I'm hearing more and more from my older friends about like, oh, I got to make money for this. Oh, I got to make money for this. Oh, I got to do this to make this money. And I'm like the last person, as far as I know, in my friend group that's like chasing the dream job that they want. That's like chasing the dream of what they want to do. And a lot of my friends have bigger, more like not job related dreams, right? Like, I want to be a sportscaster so that I can, the job that I do every single day, there's never a single day where I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired. Even though there's going to be days when I'm tired when I'm doing the job that I love, right? I don't think a single one, I have one friend who I know for sure is working a job that she fucking loves. Everybody else is like talking about like, oh, I'm doing this job to make this amount of money. And the money and the things that they can do with the money from their job is what they enjoy doing. That's cool, man. And they're living the way that they want to live. But I'm still like chasing the dream. And I don't think I'm addicted to like chasing the dream. I think that I have now, after like 30 years old, 3 decades into it, the dream of being a sportscaster is like solidified in my heart to this point where it's something that I like, no matter how much doubt that I have in my mind, I still believe that I can do it. So the favorite thing that I learned in my 20s is that I have the ability to do that. I have resolve enough to believe in myself, even when I don't believe in myself. Also, friendship wise, I've learned how to reprioritize like who you value as friends, right? And I think I told this story on this podcast before, but I'll tell it again. I had a friend who I thought I was real close to for years. Known him since middle school, went through high school with him. This dude used to call me drunk when he was at college. On East Coast time, so used to call me drunk, tell me about his girl problems and his life problems. We used to talk stuff out. He used to have me over to his house. His family calls me their other son, or used to call me their other son. Shout out to all the moms and the dads who helped raise me over the last 30 years, because it's been a lot of them. It's been a lot of people who have not even helped. They didn't have to. My mom is great. My dad's pretty cool. But my family is amazing as well. But there have been so many other families who have embraced me as a person, who've made me who the human being I am is today. And helped me understand a culture. In particular, my Hispanic and Latinx brothers. They have helped me understand a culture that I never, if it wasn't for the school that I went to, if it wasn't for the people that I hung out with, would have never known anything about. And I realized that so many people in this world don't understand. So when I see people who talk about, like, who speak ill of Mexican people, Latinx born people, Hispanic people in general, who say horrible things about it, I push back a lot, because I was embraced by a group of people who I couldn't give them anything. I was just a high school kid, right? I was just a middle school kid. But yeah, like, I learned how to prioritize energy into friends. I had a friend. It got to a point where, he fell in love with the girl of his dreams, which is amazing for him, and I'm really happy for him. And he decided not to invite me to his wedding. He invited me to his bachelor party, right? And my friend group knows about this, right? And my friends have known about this. It was a weird experience. It was a weird feeling, because I went to their bridal shower. No, not bridal. Their wedding shower. And, brought him a present and all that kind of stuff like that. And then I realized that I'm the only person in our friend circle that wasn't going to the wedding. So there were people who were either groomsmen that were taking their girlfriends and boyfriends or taking their girlfriends that I knew, or there were bridesmaids who were taking their boyfriends. So I was in a group, essentially I was in a fucking group chat. I was in a group chat, and I was the only person that wasn't in Mexico when the group chat was at the wedding, right? And that says a lot. That speaks volumes, right? Like, had an opportunity, and I reached out to him about it, and he was just like, yeah, man, like, like, I just feel like I'm closer to this guy than you, kind of deal. And I couldn't, like, we didn't have Like, you know, it was a small wedding party to begin with, but it's also like, you know, I read that. That was my first thing. That hurt a lot. It felt like it was an utter betrayal. To be honest with you, it was the first betrayal from a friend that I had had as an adult. And I took it pretty hard. At first I was angry, and then I got to the point where it's like, I'm going to set rules. Like, I'm not going to talk to this guy ever again, right? Because it was like, he doesn't want to be my friend. The only way I'm going to engage with this guy is if he engages with me. And I can show you my phone right now, but it would show you his number. He has not texted me in going on 5 years. That says all I need to know, right? Like, our friendship was a lot of me engaging him, not him engaging me. And I feel like a lot of us, I think a lot of us really struggle with letting go of people who, despite the fact that they have arrived in our adulthood, they're not making an effort to remain in it. And there's one thing that you learn as a 20-year-old, as time goes on, when you turn 30, you got to make the effort to be friends. Like, for the first time in a long time, right? Like, when you're younger, you have all the time in the world for the most part. Even your friends that have jobs when they're younger, they got all the time in the world. But when you get older and you got to sleep more, you got to prioritize sleep more, you got to go to work 8, 9. Most people don't even work 8 hours a day. Most people work like 9, 10, 11 hours a day and don't even realize it. Then you got to focus on like the person that you love. That used to be a lot easier because most of the time, if you were in love with somebody, they would hang out with your friend group, but also your friends would be nearby. But yeah, when you get older, you got to make an effort. You got to go out of your way to make it happen. And as a person, if you're a person who's busy, who does make the effort, and you look around and you see people like aren't making the effort to be friends with you, like you take stock and like readjust how you dedicate your time, right? Like, I have a good chunk of guy friends. I have a good chunk of people that I know that people think I'm friends with, and I'm genuinely not. Like, there are people who I talk to on a daily basis. There are people who make an effort to call me on a regular basis. Like my boy Jonathan, his birthday is tomorrow, July 16th. And he calls me at least once a week. And this dude spends at least 10, 15 hours on a plane a week. And he makes time out of his day to call and talk to me. And then I got another guy who calls me his friend, who I can send him a text message and he will never respond to it until the next time we hang out face to face, right? And then he'll like talk, like we're cool, and he'll talk to me or whatever. And this is a guy who like kind of works in the same field that I do. Like, he works in video production, and I'm trying to get better at video production. I'm trying to get to the point where I can do more things than just sit here in front of a webcam and talk to people, right? And I'm trying to get suggestions on equipment to buy. And he's just like, this is a guy who won't pick up the phone. This is a guy who won't pick up the phone when you call him. This is a guy who won't call you back after he doesn't pick up the phone. This is a dude who rarely texts me back. But, we still claim to be friends. Different types of friends, right? Different types of friends. And there's a lot of people, there was a lot of people who showed up to my birthday party last year that I took stock of, right? And I appreciated him for it. He was one of the guys who was there. Some people are busy. He's busy all the time. But at the same time, like, everybody can't be your best friend. And I think that was a big thing for me, because as an only child, I had all the time in the world to interact with other people, right? Because I didn't have brothers and sisters that I had to hang out with or like talk to and do stuff with and be around and all that kind of stuff like that. Yeah, man. Like, I think a lot of people spend a good chunk of their early life trying to figure out how to be by themselves. And I got that down pretty quickly because I was the only child. Like, I got that one locked up pretty good. But the whole like how to interact with people thing was always tough for me. Like, knowing who to care about and knowing who not to care about, right? So that like they don't care about you, so why should you care about them, kind of deal. Yeah, that's all it is. That was question number 5. That took way too long, but we're gonna keep powering through. Like I said, we're gonna power through. We're doing one more, and then we will take a hydration break, and it'll give me a chance to tweet out the links again, and also try and figure out what the fuck's going on with the stream. So we got question number 6. This one's actually very topical, if you will. Here we go. There we go. What belated birthday drink are we having? This is question number 6. This is from my guy Alex. He lives up in Canada. He plays for the Toronto Raiders, MLQ team, and I think he also plays for Valhalla Quidditch, who, by the way, just followed on Twitch. Shout out to them. Shout out to Valhalla Quidditch 4. Make sure you go subscribe to them. I'm assuming they're going to be streaming their games if you're into Canadian Quidditch. Check it out. They're one of the best teams in their entire country, and I do mean that. Like, they're one of the best teams in all of Canada. So, be honest with you, the last time I saw Alex in person, we were both kind of buzzed. Maybe Alex was drunk. Maybe Alex was having a better time than I was. I just got my night started. It looked like Alex had been, maybe Alex was in the second quarter of his night. Anyway, we were both in New Orleans, and we hung out, and it was really chill, man. This is a guy that I talk to on a pretty regular basis, and talk Quidditch and like life about and partying as well. Alex parties really hard, so I appreciate that about him because he looks like he's always trying to have a good time, and I appreciate that. I really do. Anyway, we got that going on. The belated birthday drink, man. So, I'm a basic bitch in the sense that I do a double whiskey Coke all the time. And that's like my biggest thing. Like most people who hang out with me know that I do double whiskey Coke, man. But I'm down for anything. I try and do double whiskey Coke because I feel like it gets the job done faster. If you guys understand what I'm talking about on that one. But yeah, I feel like it's a highly effective drink, and its efficiency is something that I appreciate a lot. And a couple, like 5 of them, or if I get 5 double whiskey Cokes, it'll get me pretty buzzed. So I call that a win. It'll give me like semi-buzz, whatever. Anyway, on that note, I'm down for anything. I would also be down for a drink that involves absinthe because that's becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. And honestly, I drank some straight, not as wild as I thought it was going to be. Also, recently watched a podcast on how absinthe has like a really elaborate myth about how it makes you hallucinate, and it actually doesn't. People started some myth about it, and that was a thing. So, with that being said, we are going to take our first hydration break, and you can hydrate with whatever liquids you choose to. I'm going to drink some more of this Scotch and Coke that I got right here, and we will be right back right here on my birthday AMA. We're going to play some music, real quick, from Christina Gukas, who provides all the music for the show all the time. This is her song, Closure. Yo, what up? We back. God damn it. Frame's still skipping. Sorry. I don't know what else I could possibly fucking do. I turned on my flexible bit rate and it didn't change shit. So yeah, that fucking sucks. Anyway, shout out to Christina Gukas. That's her song Closure. We're teammates now, so that's gonna be fun. Teammates again, I think. No, we've never been teammates before. We're teammates again. All right, we got a Quidditch one coming up here. If you're just joining in, by the way, I sent out exactly 0 social media shit for this stream. Fuck, don't do that. Exactly 0 social media things for this stream. I got to get back into NBA 2K, man. I really do. I felt like me and my boy Kevin, we really had a thing going. I remember one time we were out in a court, and it was like some big time streamer. Straight up, it really was. Like, it was very obvious it was a big time streamer because we went out there. Hold on a second. I'm trying to copy and paste this tweet real quick, see if I can get scam some more on this one. Anyway, we went up against this big time streamer. He was a legend. He had legendary in 2K, which is like the highest shit. Look at that. USFL players are getting signed to NFL rosters. But yeah, basically he had like the highest rank that you can get in NBA 2K, and we ended up smoking him twice. He got right back on the court with his boys or whatever. We ended up smoking him like a couple of times, and then he left the court that we were on because we were holding it down. Anyway, I can't complain too much, bro. It was lit. I felt like we were pretty good at that game, despite not having, like, we went to, we had our ups and downs. We had to learn like the system and what works and what doesn't work in the game. And I feel like we adapted pretty well because we changed our play style because we actually understand how to play basketball. And there's people who play the 2K who do not. There are people who play 2K that want to do shit by themselves and want to use like the meta style that every player like every individual streamer utilizes, because that's the best way to get points. Like the game incentivizes selfish play. But nonetheless, I had a lot of fun just getting dubs, man, because as you guys know, I don't get dubs at many points during my life. So I enjoy getting dubs with my friends. That's cool. Anyway, here we go. Ooh, wrong slide. At some point, we're gonna click on the right one. Is this it? Nope. There it is. We're back. All right. Question number 6. Actually, this is question number 7 coming up here. Type it in real quick. This is actually kind of funny. Yeah, so this is a Quidditch related one. Underrated. Oh, my bad. Everybody wants to text me right now because he just got off work, but also it's like I'm on stream. Super annoying. Not annoying, but I appreciate the love. I really do. People don't have to go out of their way to try and make me feel special today, and they're choosing to, and I appreciate that. 1 per division. All right. Ooh. Hopefully I spelled division right, because I did not. Division. There's another I in there. There we go. All right. Underrated players. 3 in the South, 1 per division. That's a good question, because you can make an argument that based off who the media talks about very much, and like Quidditch does have its own media sphere, and a lot of it is centered around people who don't have time to watch every single game, which is totally understandable. They shouldn't be wasting 12 hours a day trying to watch film or watching like grainy camera footage from somebody who's using their cell phone to record a game. Anyway, they got that going on. So underrated players, three in the South, one per division. I think they're talking about MLQ. So hold on, let me look at this real quick. Three players in the South that are heavily underrated. Look, y'all tough. So in the South, we have the Austin Outlaws. We have the Austin Outlaws, Kansas City Stampede, the League City Legends, and the San Antonio Soldados with New Orleans Curse. So, obviously, with San Antonio, man, I don't know. Most underrated player on the San Antonio roster. I'm trying to think about who that could be. I think Maya Hiddenbaugh is properly rated. I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about Eric Reyes enough. Like, straight up, though. Eric Reyes is like an untackleable chaser that doesn't necessarily fit the current meta of how Quidditch is played. And if you know anything about metas, you either have to fully conform to it or you do the exact opposite, and it's the thing that throws people off and helps you be successful. So I personally think Eric Reyes is underrated, and I don't say that as a guy who, big man bias type stuff like that. But I say it as a person who's seen him play and has had to play against him for a really long time, and I feel like nobody really talks about him anymore because he's an older player, and the whole sport is built upon college players getting love as much as possible, so they stick with the sport and continue to make it great. But there's a lot of veteran club players that make this game really fun, that do a good job of creating an environment for those younger players that everybody likes to talk about to be successful. So there's that. On the Outlaws roster, man, can I click on it and see the roster? I'm trying to scroll through here real quick and see what we can find. As I suspected, Swati, who is a player for the University of Texas, she's deadly. She's already gotten 3 snitch pulls already, and anytime you can get female seeker is probably like the deadliest meta that you can go with, because if you have like a legit female seeker instead of a person that you send out there to block the other seeker, you're really balling on all levels. That means you got a really versatile roster and you can do some things. Because my best season ever in Quidditch was with a female seeker. Shout out my girl Autumn, and she carried the squad. She pulled like 75% of the snitches that we had that season. But yeah, it's I don't see, like, I look at this and I talk about Cameron Ogleaf for Austin. I feel like he's heavily underrated too, man, because he be out there balling, man. And I know he's been off for a little while in terms of like life and stuff like that. But Cameron, I think everybody who's like gone to Texas State and who plays in the South Division knows that Cameron's really good. And now he's got like the flow. Now he's got like the long flowing hair to go along with it. So if you got any underrated players, drop them in the chat, man. If you're a person who's watching this who has no idea what I'm talking about, I apologize greatly. Going to Kansas City Stampede, 3 per. They said 3 in the South, so I have to whittle it down like really quickly. Man, I see Vincent Reyes from Kansas City getting a lot better. Billy Quatch still very, very effective in terms of scoring and stuff like that. This Joey Goulet kid, I saw him on film for Kansas City. He was killing it at point defender. Really bummed out we're not going to play him this weekend because I honestly, man, like a lot of people, Kansas City's only bringing 13 for tomorrow, and I'm super bummed out about that, mainly as a coach from a competitive perspective, because I don't want people to try and take wins away from my team, because I believe we're going to win every single game that we play, but now there's like a built-in like, oh, they didn't have their full roster, which is the same thing that can be said about the Legends every single time they go to Kansas City. Every single team that travels to Kansas City very rarely brings 21, and Kansas City kills everybody. Kansas City's a good team. Like, you don't need to add the factor of travel into what they do to make them sound like they're a good team. But that's tough, man. But yeah, Vincent Reyes, I watched him play a bunch on film. Felt like he was playing pretty well. Has come a long way from where he was last season to this season. Justin Duick for Kansas City is killing it. He has been doing it consistently. When he played us last season, he, I guess, like threw up on the field or something like that. So maybe he was like food poisoning or something. I don't know. But yeah, every time I see him play now, he's like the most aggressive beater on the field. And when I say aggressive, I mean like he's decisive with his throws. His throws are like impossible to catch because of how hard he can whip them. And does a really good job. Ryan Dickey, heavily slept on. Ryan Dickey for Kansas City at the keeper/chaser position, because I don't think I've ever seen him. Maybe I'm mistaking, but I don't think Ryan Dickey plays keeper. I think he plays chaser most of the time. It's weird, but he is a tall boy. He's what they call a tall boy out there. For Curse, underrated players. You could say the whole team is underrated, honestly. A lot of people don't appreciate how good Curse is overall. They got a lot of experience, and they're getting the younger kids to play well. Marcellus. Every time I see Marcellus, he's getting better. Marcellus Lewis, every time I see him playing, he gets better. Charlton's getting better in age in terms of driving and scoring consistently. And the Dylan DeLee, number 26 for Curse, looks like he's going to be really successful in terms of when he goes back to the college ranks, if that happens next season for him. He was tough for a club team. He was tough for us to stop up front. So it was one of those things for sure. Anyway, so I get 3 out of the South. I'm going to go Swathi for Austin. From Austin. I don't underrate any of my League City Legends players, but I'll put Hayden Boys on that list. I could put Chris Dorsey, Hayden Boys. I could put Mallory Hughes on there, and it's because this is her rookie season and stuff. But, yeah, no. What else? For Curse, I'll put Dylan DeLee. So I got Swathi, Dylan DeLee. And for San Antonio, I want to put Eric Reyes on there. Oh, by the way, Catherine Hayworth as well. Just heavily slighted. Yeah, man. Just some of this stuff is like wild how we just don't talk about certain players in the game. And I get it. You can't spend an entire podcast just like focused on like, oh, man, this person's good. It's MLQ. Everybody's good, right? But yeah, I need to write that down so I can post it later, I guess. Shout out Carlos Prado. He wrote that question in. So I said Swathi, Dylan, DeLee, Eric Reyes. Oh, then he says he also wants 1 per division. Okay, let's see how good I can do on this one. Boston Forge, man, that's tough. I kind of want to skip that part of the question because I've been watching games that are outside of the South, but I wouldn't say that I'm at a point where I can like pick out people. Cody LeBove, one of my favorite all-time Quidditch players ever, heavily underrated. Big loss for the South, like in terms of beaters for sure. And he plays for Charlotte. Man, yeah, I want to skip that part of the question because I feel like I wouldn't do it justice. I wouldn't do it justice being like, yeah, like this person here and all that kind of shit like that. But yeah, we'll move on. Shout out, I did the first part. The 3 players that I picked from the South are Swathi, she's a rookie, Dylan DeLee, and Eric Reyes. Feel like they're heavily underrated. And I would also like to point out, I said most of Curse is heavily underrated because the entire team typically is, because if you put Curse in any other division, they'd probably be first or second place contenders. So that's how tough the South is. What are we doing? Oh, right, answering questions. Oh, man, this is a good one. This next one right here, this is a NBA one. Shout out John Alvarez for sending this one in. Hey. So, yeah. Oh, man. So I'm going to get a map out for this one. I wanted to do this one specifically without any prep whatsoever because there's a lot of lists out there of like cities that would be great for expansion teams. Map of the U.S. Map of the YS is what I typed in. All right. Interesting. Map of the U.S. So we know, all right, looking at New York, New York doesn't need any more teams. Florida doesn't need more teams. Obviously not a basketball area. Obviously, the first on the list probably is going to be Vegas, because Phoenix is close by, Utah, Salt Lake City's pretty close by, and I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that Vegas needs a team. It would be cool if it was an expansion team. I'd be okay if it was a team that moved over. There's some of these areas that I'm going to name that I flat out just like won't do it unless it is. I won't do an expansion team for it. So it would have to be a team that moves over there, because I believe fervently that there are teams that there's enough talent in the NBA, in the basketball world, to fill up another NBA team. So moving on, obviously I'm gonna put Seattle on the list. Seattle has to be on the list. Seattle's clearly proven itself to be a basketball town with the Storm, and how successful the Storm has been, how popular the Storm are, and then of course it would fill this void that exists within Oregon. So Portland, Oregon's there. Seattle, Washington would be right above it. So it would be Seattle in top left for Washington, the Portland Trailblazers, and then the Sacramento Kings, and then you'd have both of the LA teams further down the way, and it would fill it out, one. And then two, that may or may not be like an untapped market in terms of like people paying attention and all that kind of jazz like that. Get it, jazz. Anyway, and I know this may sound wild as fuck. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up real quick. Biggest city in, I'm not gonna say the state because that would give it away. Cool. There needs to be a Kansas City team. There needs to be a Kansas City NBA team. One, Kansas is a basketball state. Like, yeah, you would be competing with the Jayhawks, but nonetheless, if you get an NBA team in there, that'd be fucking sick. And then it would also give all them, Kansas City is a city of two states, which is huge. And it will be also far enough away from pretty much, it will be one state away from Oklahoma City Thunder. And then Arkansas doesn't have a team. Missouri doesn't have a team. Kansas doesn't have a team. Nebraska and Iowa. It's out there in the middle of nowhere. And all the teams in the middle of nowhere can have somebody that they root for. And you can, also, Kansas City's a nice town, man. Kansas City's a big enough place to host and hold an NBA team. Yes, the Chiefs are a big deal, but the fact of the matter is football is going to be a big deal no matter where you put it. But getting in early, especially like right now, because they have Kansas City FC, the MLS team, it would round it out if you added in. They have the Kansas City Royals there already. Kansas City is clearly proving itself to be a fertile location for a professional team. Yes, it is a smaller market, but it does have a ton of potential in terms of being able to draw in some of these basketball, draw in some basketball fans who we may or may not know that exist out there, right? Especially if Kansas City can get off to a hot start early on in its existence, it will be huge. We also need to get more of these professional fucking teams, pro teams in these middle of nowhere places, man. Like, I feel like if you gave South Dakota a pro team, they would you would get the entire state of South Dakota, and there has to be some kind of value in that, right? But yeah, a Kansas City team, because it would be close to Oklahoma City, which would be cool, and then that's close to Texas, and the two teams that are down here. Sorry, the three teams that are down here. It's three teams: Rockets, Spurs, and Mavericks. Anyway. But yeah, like that would round out this map, man. Like, there's this huge void almost in the middle of America where there's just like non-existent space because there are just so few people. But I think that if you are an organization and you feel like you can do a good enough job to make an entire state root for one team, you should try and do that. Like, South Dakota has no pro teams going for it. So my three cities, I said, what did I say? I said Seattle for sure. I said Kansas City. And then what was the last one I said? This is the one I didn't write down. Oh, and Vegas, obviously. Like, I feel like those would be huge expansion teams for the NBA. And they would also be in a gap between other NBA teams. Like, it wouldn't be crazy travel for whatever team that you pick, because like, Kansas is touching Colorado, where the Nuggets play. Kansas is touching Missouri. Kansas is touching Oklahoma. Oklahoma is touching Texas. Those are not far flights. Like, the travel would not be as arduous. Illinois is right next to Missouri, right? And you, like, once again, a team that could be a team that is in a city of two states. I feel like you can sell people on that. I feel like you can sell people on like, hey man, we have this one team, and we want to market it to like 2 different states. One of those states is a big fan of the Kansas Jayhawks and Kansas State. They have sports fans there that we could get to root for more than one team. We can get them to root for more than one basketball team. It doesn't have to be like no singular sports fan is very rarely are sports fans a one sport team, right? I think that's a legitimate thing to be considered. Kansas City may sound like it's a little out there, but it's also like pretty spot on in terms of a great place to put a team. Like I said, media rights probably be pretty easy to get to. You don't have too much competition outside of basketball season. Outside of college basketball season, name anything else that Kansas City cares about. Royals, depending upon how good they are, and depending upon the individual season, which is telling, right? Like you can actively choose to be good and bad every single season, which is a thing that's for real in pro sports, and a lot of people don't want to address that. Fave workout. Sorry, here's the next question. Oh boy, here we go. This one's a tough one. As a fat guy, trying to endorse exercising is not the move. Sorry, I'm not supposed to. That wasn't self-deprecating. It was just factual. I actually hate working out for the most part. I like being able to do cool athletic things. I hate working out. It's just facts, man. Just facts. That's why I work out with Beth all the time, or try to work out with Beth as much as possible, because it's easier to suffer with a friend. Let that be a key. That's a key life lesson for you, those of you out there in the world. Suffering with a friend is a lot more fun than suffering alone. But a lot of the good gains you're gonna get come from suffering alone. Anyway, answering the question: fave workout and workout jam. So we're gonna have to look up something real quick. So fave workout, I've been doing jump squats, like 40 jump squats a day for the last like 3 weeks. I've been feeling pretty good doing those. So like right now it's jump squats, and I do it with my barbells in my hand. So I do it with 2 35-pound barbells. So it's 70 pounds all combined together. Yes, I'm good at math like that. I'm trying to think of the song that is it Whip It? It's Whip It. I think it's Whip It, yeah. Yes, it is. Lunch Money Lewis, Whip It, featuring Chloe Angedelis. Here we go. So, I'll tell you a really sad story. Tell you another sad story. This is a long time ago. This is a different Ashton. I think I can safely say that. But yeah, favorite workout right now: jump squats. I really do miss just regular squatting. I don't have like a squat rack at my house. I don't have like weights. The only weights I have in my house are 2 35-pound dumbbells. Everything else I do is like agility based, and obviously I hate that because it exports a lot of energy for me personally. So yeah, there's that going on. Fave workout jam. Here's a story behind a song that changed my life. Lunch Money Lewis, who is a artist, and his song is called Whip It. You can listen to it for yourself. I'm trying not to get these copyright strikes out here, baby. I'm trying to keep this monetized and all that shit like that. So they got that going on, right? That song, it goes, when I see now, just whip it, just whip it, just whip it. Anyway, you can listen to it on your own. I did a terrible rendition of it. I haven't listened to it in years because I'm not at that place in my life anymore. This song in particular is about, I think it like wholeheartedly, to me, where it resonated is like, it sounded like they were just saying like, shake what you got. Like, you ain't got to go out there and do anything extra. You don't have to do anything but be yourself. And that really resonated with me at a time where I think I've told this story before too. I thought I was in love with a friend of mine, and it was just like I was spiraling hardcore because she was dating a friend of mine and like kept it a secret. And the only reason I can imagine she kept it a secret is because she knew that I liked her and she didn't like me back and she didn't want to say that. And they kept it a secret for like almost an entire summer. And I knew about it like almost immediately as soon as it started. And she didn't tell me about it until after a party at this guy's house, right? And basically, like, I drove her to this party, right? And there was a whole bunch of other messed up things that happened. I guess I could tell that story too. She was like, I was working at ESPN at the time, so I was up doing late night stuff. So I used to text her all the time because she was back from college. She was back from college, and she would be up late. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you when you're on your college schedule, you're on your college schedule. Whether she was out hanging out with friends or she was like chilling out at home or whatever. But basically, she would like, we were like real tight. Like, we were really good friends, like really close. Like, I would call her my best friend at that time. And we're still cool now. It's just that we're not best friends. She's moved on to like a different phase in her life, and like we're cool with each other and all that kind of stuff like that. But like, we're not best friends like we used to be anymore. And still got love for her and everything. But when she was in college, she would come back. It was a summer. She was flirting with my friend. Didn't know about it. It was cool or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, if she had told me up front, I could have dealt with the fact that I was very much attracted to her and wanted to date her on my own, as opposed to like what ended up happening where she didn't tell me. And she doesn't, like, once again, she didn't owe me anything other than the fact that we're friends. I feel like if you're friends with somebody, you would tell them something like that. But she was dating him and didn't tell me. It like fell apart because he wanted something serious, because he was like, he's my age. He's one of my friends. So he's like my age. And that makes him like 3 years younger than her. And she was still in college. And he was talking about like moving his life to go live in the city that she was living in, where she was going to college. It was a big city. So it was like, he was talking about like moving his life to that area to work on his career and still be able to date her, as opposed to what he wanted to do, which was go to Los Angeles. Guess what? He ended up going to LA, and it worked out really well for him. But she was kind of like, it wasn't that serious for her. And so it didn't, I don't know if it ended well or whatever, but it was, I remember a couple of key moments. My friend Elizabeth was getting married. We all went to high school together. She invited our entire high school. She invited like our friends from high school. We're going to her wedding. She invites both of us, because like we're both, like, me and my friend that my friend, the girl that I was in love with / my best friend at the time, was dating. Oh well, they were trying to talk to each other. And this was after she had told me. So this is like towards the back end of the summer. But I remember this like very vividly. I'd already found out about it. She hadn't told me, or she had told me, but I knew before she told me. And she told me outside of a party at his house. She's like, hey, like, I'm talking to this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And she's like, hey, like, we cool? And I was like, yeah, like, why wouldn't we be cool? And like, honestly, we were cool. It was just, it was something I had to deal with. Like, you know, being attracted to, being in love with somebody who didn't feel that way about me. That was just facts. That was just facts. That's how it goes. But the wedding, we go to the reception and all that kind of stuff like that. And she is expecting, you know, I'm getting to the point where I'm finally getting over a lot of the sad stuff. Like, in terms of like, oh man, like, she doesn't like me. She doesn't care about me at all in like any type of romantic sense. That hurts. But I don't try and put that on her, because there's no reason to put that on her. It's a me thing, right? Like, we're just not meant for each other. She's not, either we're not meant for each other right now, or she doesn't like me, right? Or she's never going to like me because of like how I am, my personality, what I do, kind of like how I look, whatever it may be, right? And we're both going to the same place. And she's like we're texting, and she's talking about like, I'm waiting for this guy to like ask me to go. Or like the guy being my friend, right? Asking him to go with her to the reception. And he doesn't. And it's like the day before. And so she's like spazzing out kind of deal. She's like, hey, can I like go with you kind of deal? And I was like, for sure, of course. Because like, we're still cool. We're still friends kind of deal. Obviously, I just assume to this day that she knows that I was attracted to her like that, like in a deeply romantic sense. I assume that she knows that. And she's like, hey, can I like go with you kind of deal? I was like, of course. Like, I don't have a problem with that. She like didn't want to go because like this wasn't her age group that she went to high school with, she would like only be going because she got invited as like a +1 or something like that. And poor reading of the situation, right? Like I was like, yo man, like I really don't care, like we're going as friends, I'm not tripping about it or whatever. And so we show up, no, sorry. I forgot this part, the key important part. So she's like, hey, can I go with you? And I'm like, yeah, of course, for sure. Like me and my friends are going to be there, all that kind of jazz like that. He's one of my friends. And he's like in the group chat and like hasn't said anything about the wedding at the time in the group chat. So it was kind of funny. But he ends up like asking her, and then she backs out of going with me. She's like, hey, Ashton, like, I just want you to know, like, he just asked me and I really want to go with him kind of deal. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I totally understand. Like, you're like really into him kind of deal. Obviously, that hurt me. That hurt me for sure. That like somebody wouldn't even, like, we were both going to the same place, but she like specifically wanted to like get picked up by him and all that kind of stuff. And it almost sent me spiraling again. I will point out self-worth was pretty low at this point. But I was still able to like be like, I'm gonna go to this wedding and have a great time with my friends. Like, this is my friend's wedding. She got married to the guy that she's been with since like 6th grade, legitimately since 6th grade, and we're gonna have a great time. I show up to the wedding, we're hanging out, my friends are hanging out, my boys come up to me, they're like talking and all this kind of stuff like that, and I was like, oh dude, it's gonna be dope. I'm sitting at a different table than my guy friend who's with her, right? And she like he starts hanging out and dancing with other people. And so she's just sitting at the table by herself. And I'm like, that's my friend. I'm going to go say hi to my friend and talk to her and see how she's doing, because it looks like she's not having a great time. And go over there, talk to her. She's not having a great time. And I'm like, hey, yo, I'm going to go get a drink kind of deal, because I was old enough to drink. She wasn't kind of deal. Which I don't think would have been a factor in the reception hall. Anyway, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go over here, get a drink or whatever. I'll be back. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And like, I go up. I'm standing in line. My friends come up behind me. They're like, you know, fucking around and stuff like that. And they're like, hey man, like, did you go talk to Lily? Did you like go dance with, like, oh man, I wasn't supposed to say that. Did you go like dance with her kind of deal? Did you go dance with her? Did you go dance with her? And I was like, why would I dance with her? She's here with Eddie. And wow, said both of them. Anyway, she's here with him. Why would I go dance with her? And basically they're like, nah, dude, like, you should, like, you know, take charge and like show her that like you're about her and like let her know, because like she knows. But all this kind, I was like, I'm like, guys, I'm pretty sure she knows how I feel about her. And she's like still kind of like, you know, doing what she's doing. Like, she's still hollering at this other guy, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, I'm not gonna put more energy into that. And so, you know, I went and started dancing with my friends and all this kind of stuff like that. She texted me afterwards. She's like, I had a terrible time, everything. And I'm like, yeah, it looked like you didn't have a great time. Like, she was like, the only time I had a good time was like when you came up and like were inviting me to hang out with your friends and stuff like that, because he kind of like ditched me and everything. And I was like, yeah, like, I mean, that happens. Like, you're at a wedding filled with people that like you don't really know, like people you went to school with, but like you don't really know them as people. And so it's like really hard to just go spark up a conversation. And so all of my friends, like my female friends, knew what the situation was. And so they were kind of like, oh, we're like not gonna talk to her because of all this and all that kind of jazz like that. And I'm like, that's not how we're gonna handle this. Like, we're not gonna, like, that. She's my friend, she's like one of my best friends, like we're still really cool, even though what's going on right now really hurts me. We're still friends. Like, that's just how it is. I say all that to work my way to this song. The song Whip It by Lunchbox Lewis helped me a ton, because at one point I legitimately, like, this is the only real time I can say that I was depressed in my life. I've been very sad at many points in my life, but this is one of the few real times where I'm like, yeah, that is what depression feels like. And I've been lucky enough to be able to not have to experience that on a regular basis and fight that struggle like everybody else, like a lot of other people do, right? Same thing, I feel like I'm very lucky in the sense that when I go to sleep, I go to sleep. Like, I don't wake up and like toss and turn all night kind of deal. But I was depressed when I found out initially about her hanging out with my friend. Because one, she was like kind of lying about it the whole time. She would like not respond to text messages. And then like after she was done hanging out with them, then she would respond. She would be like, oh, I'm like hanging out with my mom. And like wouldn't mention that he was there as well at her house. So yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing for like a whole summer. It was so weird. It was so weird as a summer. And it was like high school drama. I wouldn't even say it was drama because like I actively chose I tried not to let other people know that I was really struggling. The only person I told was my friend Jonathan about the situation, and he understood. And he was like, he would hang out with her, and he was the reason I even knew that they were seeing each other kind of deal, because he would hang out with both of them, and it was like one of those things where the guy that's my friend, like was hollering at her like on the side kind of deal, wasn't saying anything to anybody, or didn't say anything to me at least. And then him and my friend Jonathan were hanging out, and then she just pulls up one day, and it becomes a thing, right? But yeah, it was the song by Lunchbox Lewis is the reason I started working out. The reason I started working out after I like was not in college anymore. I used to work out for college football. It was the reason I would work out because I at one point, and I kid you not, this is how it started. I was laying on the side of my bed with my feet hanging off the edge of the bed, and I just was like I was spiraling so hard and saying such horrible things to myself about myself that I just couldn't move. And then one day I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be in this position, I might as well do something that like gets me active, or like something that's going to help me, because if I don't know how long I'm going to be depressed. So I might as well use all this laying around time to get stronger in some way. And I just started doing curls. And I mean like bench, like I meant like ab curls. So I started doing curls in my bed. And I did like little ones at first because I was on a bed. So like I would sink into the bed, and the more force you applied in one area would raise the other one. And I just started doing like little curls. And then it turned into me doing sit-ups on the ground. And then it turned into me doing push-ups on the ground. And then it turned into me stretching and doing a whole workout routine. Then it turned into me shadow boxing for like 5-minute rounds every day. And that's how I started working out. And then eventually, this is just like pure science, right? Like the endorphins from working out helped counteract my terrible feeling. And then I got a gym membership from my mom for Christmas. And I had that gym membership for like 4 years. And I used to go to Planet Fitness when I felt at my absolute lowest. I would drive to Planet Fitness and work out at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't know what I was doing. I would go do curls. I would run on a treadmill. I started lifting, all that kind of stuff like that. Didn't know what I was doing at all. Started doing research, looking into what workouts I should be doing. Very quickly found out that Planet Fitness was not a gym that was conducive for me to do things that were going to help me get more athletic, which is what my goal was. Sad to say, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, man. Like the vanity that I was a victim of, like the whole, like, I need to get sexier. And you can look at it on my Facebook and my Twitter and stuff. I used to tweet about that all the time. Like after every workout, I used to tweet out one step closer to sexy, because I never thought like the current state that I was in was sexy. Self-deprecation, right? That's the thing. Anyway, that's my favorite workout gym, because it got me on the path that I am now. Because I feel like if I had never done that, if I had never heard that song, I probably wouldn't have been, because it's the song that I tune into. It was the top of my playlist, for my workout playlist, for like 3 years. And I would listen to it, and it would start me off, because it would get me in the right mode of like, hey man, this is not about anybody else. This is about me. And I realize now that mentality is not something that's very common in weightlifting. Like not even weightlifting, but just like in like the gym world in general, right? You catch people staring at you when you're lifting like heavy weights in the gym. You catch people, you see people and you hear people talk about like, oh man, that guy, like I went out there and I PR'd on bicep curls for reps for the first time ever. And then they're like, oh, but this other guy used it for like 5 sets, like it was nothing. And I'm like, why are you looking at the other dude? Like, you should be focused on your next workout. You should be focused on your next set. And that song helped me tunnel vision when I needed it the most, when I was in a bad place. And I'll never forget that. Shout out to Whip It. And it's like the most innocuous song ever, because it was on the radio for a little while and it helped me a bunch. It really did. And I still remember it to this day. It was wild, because it got me on the path to like trying to figure out. It got me in a better habit of researching workouts, which helped me get to the point of developing the agility or not developing the agility drills, but finding the agility drills that I use today to get better as an athlete. So yeah, shout out Lunchbox Lewis. Lunch Money Lewis. I don't know why I said Lunchbox. Lunch Money Lewis on that one. That was a really long answer for that one. Sorry about that. Oh man, this one's God. This is a solely Quidditch one, and do I want to do this one? Let's go here. Sorry, let me back this up. Because I'm gonna say a bunch of names that people that don't know. So the question is, build a perfect Quidditch player using 7 attributes. Build a perfect Quidditch. Ooh, shit. That's not how you spell attributes, but we're not going to talk about that, all right? I should wrap this up because I got to drive to League City to go check on a field in the middle of nowhere tonight. So 7 attributes. IQ, frame, pass, oh shit. Seven attributes. IQ, frame. Hopefully that last story wasn't too sad for a lot of people. Other stuff definitely happened that was like really a bummer that summer because it felt like multiple points or like right when I was getting over it, something else would pop up and it would make it worse for me. Athleticism and mentality. Oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna go. These are pretty simple. So IQ of Augie, even though I know he's not the only brainchild behind what Austin does, but frame of Casey, because obviously Casey's got a frame that can build a ton of muscle. And let's go. And I'll fill out athleticism with Simona Renz, who's probably the most athletic person to play Quidditch ever. Mentality. Man, this is a tough one because some of it's like displaying of the mentality, right? Man, I really want to put myself here because I feel like I have a really good mentality about Quidditch and the approach of it. I'm going to just put myself there. Like, you know what? I'm going to humble brag a little bit and feel like I have like an elite level mentality about this sport. Defense, man. This is a good one. John Jackson for sure. John Jackson from the New York Titans. I feel like every time I see him play defense, people end up on the ground, so I'll take that. Passing ability. Man. I do be dropping dimes, though. No, I'm just playing. Passing ability. Oh, I know who the shot is right here. Sam Reagan for sure. Sam Reagan. Some of you guys are not familiar with him. But passing ability, man. Dude. Who'd really just be out here dropping dimes, though? Like, without any fault whatsoever. It's, yeah, man. Passing ability. Because I want to put Philip O'Brien right here, and I feel like he does a great job of doing this. I'm going to put Phil. Phil O.B. right here. 7 build the perfect Quidditch player using 7 attributes. So I used, let me see if it even fits on the screen. All right. Obviously, this is biased. It's my opinion. Build a perfect Quidditch player using 7 attributes. So the IQ of Augustine Monroe, the frame of Casey Irwin, because I feel like, once again, Casey is like obviously massively athletic and has a good combination of speed, power, and has a lot of stuff that she can utilize at a high level. But Philip O'Brien, I feel like drops dimes. He taught me a bunch about how to play Quidditch, and that helped me a bunch in terms of like my mentality, because I very easily could have become a shitty hero ball player that legitimately doesn't pass and doesn't look to pass, and now it's safe to say I look too much to pass, and I'd rather be that side of the spectrum than the other. Sam Reagan, because I don't think I've ever seen Sam Reagan actually miss a shot on a hoop ever, and he's got a push shot and an over the shoulder throw that has a lot of power with it. Defense of John Jackson, who plays for the New York Titans. I feel like like I said before, whether he's coming out the hoops or he's rotated up top, I feel like he kills it every single time he plays defense out there. I know he plays against a different type of competition. There's a lot more pass-centric offenses that are up north and stuff like that, but nonetheless, John lays the hammer as much as he possibly can. Athleticism of Simone Arenz, because I feel like Simone, like I said before, is the most athletic dude to ever play the sport of Quidditch. And then, of course, a little arrogance here to feel like I have an elite level mentality of how to play Quidditch, and that's my answer for question number 10. That was sent in by Fraser, who is a player across the pond, to the UK, and plays for Team Hong Kong, or is going to play for Team Hong Kong in the upcoming European Championships, where they determine the best. No, wait, it's the Euros, and Asian teams are invited, and he's going to be playing on Team Hong Kong. It's going to be pretty dope. So that's question number 10, breaking that one down. This is a good one. This is Carlos. He sent this one in. I think he's I think he was bored one day, and he sent in a bunch of these questions, and I appreciate every single one of them. I really do. Is Earth... Yep, it's going there, guys. Round or flat? Because the right answer There we go. Man, I really hope somebody is just tuning in to the show and being like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Anyway, is the Earth round or flat? So the technical smartass answer is that it's neither, right? It's spherical, which is not round. Round is a term used to describe a two-dimensional circle, which is this shape, right? That's how that goes. Anyway, the Earth is spherical. It is not flat. We believe in science around here, and I think we really did a good job of hammering that shit home during the pandemic, when people were just being complete assholes and just 100% only out there for themselves. Shout out to all those people who hoarded all that toilet paper. I wonder where they are right now. This is a good one. So I wanted to do this one raw dog as well. Did not do any prep for this one. Yes, I did refer to it as raw dog. Anyway, so the question is for the birthday AMA. This is question number 12. Shout out to everybody who powered through and brought questions, because got a lot of content out of this. If you could trade places with any pro athlete, who is it and why? The right answer is the one that makes the most money, which would be Ronaldo. But hard pass on that, because I don't want people accusing me of sexual assault or on a regular basis. Also, like, Ronaldo still with the 12 pack at this point in his life, and for some reason people don't want him to play for their team. It's very weird. But yeah, got that going on. So pro athlete I'd want to trade places with. Damn, man. I mean, shit, Russell Wilson, bro. Honestly, like on the real, you wake up next to Sierra every single day, or most days, and you get to play football at Monticello, like the real Monticello, not Monticello, Utah, Monticello. Man, would it be Russ? Nah, Russ be getting hit too much, man. Also, we are so this is the thing too. So as a good high quality friend, I don't let my friends get their kids into sports that they can't maximize the money out of. So the right answer every time somebody talks about being a pro athlete, I say left-handed pitcher, because that's a type of pitcher that makes the most money, with not having nearly as much skill as the right-handed pitchers do. So, man, I don't want to be a baseball player, though. It's not fun. I don't enjoy. Well, actually, I do enjoy playing baseball a lot. Mookie Betts makes it seem like it's real fun to be fast, and that's one thing for sure. Like, if it was gonna be a pro athlete, I want to know what it's like to be fast for the first time in my entire life. And it'd have to be like, but I would want, my mind naturally drifts towards basketball player, because basketball players make a really good blend of high amounts of money. They are worldwide famous because basketball is a global sport, unlike football is, and in a lesser fashion of baseball. Like, baseball is not as globally as popular as basketball is. And then the injuries, and like, one, all contracts are guaranteed, right? And then on top of that, like basketball is like the least amount of injuries, and it's the sport that I outside of Quidditch, basketball is the sport that I played the most in my entire life. And honestly, there's other sports, but I played basketball I've never had a single year where I haven't played a game of basketball at all. Even in 2020, I was in my neighbor's backyard working on my jump shot. Right, that's how much I love that. That's how much I love basketball. So I'd have to pick a pro basketball athlete. Would I want to be a 7-footer so that even in the back end of my career when I'm significantly slower, I'll still have like some kind of structural value to like basketball? Because at the end of the day, like, once you slow down and can't play defense anymore, you're still 7 feet tall, you can still affect people's shots. Damn. And guards have to do a lot of work in a modern day NBA. Do I want to pick a white person so life is easier? These are all the things you got to consider, man. These are all the factors you got to consider when you're trying to swap places with somebody. No, because then I'd have to. Never mind. I already hang out with a bunch of white people. But I would imagine that if you're a white person in the NBA, the white people you hang out with are like very overtly racist. And like they're the type of racist that they don't even know they're being racist. They're just like regurgitating information that they heard from somebody else who hangs out with normal people. Yeah, man. Who would I want to be? Who's the best looking? I saw man, what's Claxton's first? Eric Claxton for the Nets. Hold on. It has to be a current day player. I think that's what the rule is. Because if not, I'll pick a retired player and be like, I got all this money. Say literally any professional athlete. Damn. I wouldn't pick Nick Claxton. He hasn't made his money yet. Damn. Oh, this is a tough one. Not DeAndre Jordan, because then I'd have to wonder if I know how to dribble a basketball. I guess I have to pick a guard. I've been compared to my beer pong shot has been compared to Nicholas Batum one time at another birthday party of mine. I think when I turned 25 or some shit like that. But I do not want to be Nicholas Batum, sadly. So I want to be a vet who's like on a max deal right now. Do I want to be Dame? Do I want to be Dame Lillard? Dame Lillard, max deal, coming off an injury, finally got an injury that he's had for 4 fucking years fixed. So he's probably feeling really good right now. But he is playing for a team that he has to carry completely on his back almost every single night. Despite the fact that they got a lot of young developing players there, developing means not necessarily ready to carry the load like we've seen in years past. But damn, who do I want? I want it to be a good-looking NBA player. Good-looking NBA player with multiple max deals underneath this belt. If you're going to be an NBA player, you either want to have an open marriage with a woman that you actually love or a person that you actually love, or be single. Do I want to be Anthony Davis? Yo, no, but he's always hurt. He's always hurt. Hold on. NBA salary rankings. Because we've already keyed in on that we want an NBA player. Because we want to have like the body of an actual basketball player and be able to play and be able to hoop at a really ridiculously high level. So we got top 10. Top 10 is Steph Curry, who I don't want to be. I want to be like an actual oh man, I was about to say something really fucked up. But I don't know why, but I relatively want to be like a black man. Like, Steph Curry is a black person, is a black man. There's no question about that whatsoever. But him being light-skinned is like a whole different dynamic. We all know that. I don't need to point that out. He's a black person who's a light-skinned person. Not Russell Westbrook. I want to be able to do something other than crazy-ass, fucking dope-ass dunks. LeBron James. Do not want to be LeBron James. He's married. Although he is currently making $44 million. Oh, that's nice. Not Kevin Durant. Not Kevin Durant. Don't want to be Kevin Durant for reasons. Yeah, you know. Anyway, Bradley Beal. Don't want to be Bradley Beal because I don't want to play for the Wizards, a team that's actively not trying to win games. Dame Lillard is on here at number 6. Pretty high up on the list, man. I don't know why. I feel like Paul George's hairline is always crispy. He's making a lot of money, and he's got Kawhi Leonard on his side, which means that he's going to have a lot of success in the future. And, I know Paul George gets a lot of hate on the internet. One, I'm a big supporter of Paul George as a human being. Big supporter of Paul George overall, mainly because he actually overperforms in comparison to the shitty things that people say about him on the internet. But people don't want to hear logic and reason, right? They want to get jokes off. So don't want to be Rudy Gobert. No Anthony Davis. Chris Middleton. No thank you. Jimmy Butler. No thanks. Tobias Harris. Oh, Tobias Harris. Hold on. We got some magic here. So Tobias has this thing where, like, when it's time to blame people for the Sixers, nobody goes for Tobias. Because Tobias still puts up numbers. Nobody expects Tobias to be the leader and the guy who makes things happen on the team. He's like the third best. He's the quote-unquote third best player because at times he plays like he's the second best player on the team. Third or fourth is what people expect out of him. But he's still out here making his top 20 money. Tobias Harris he's top 15 in the league in money. $37 million. He out here getting his bread. Man, so we got Paul George, Tobias Harris in the mix. Paul George, Tobias Harris in the mix, man. Oh, man. And I've heard Tobias Harris speak and stuff like that, and I like his ideas a lot of time. But it would be me. I would be switching places with him. Shit, man. Let's go Tobias Harris. No. Why go 15 when you can go 9? I'll swap places with Paul George. I'll swap places with Paul George as a pro athlete. Oh, man. Carlos Prado in the chat saying Tyler Hero, bro. You get a new chest tattoo, which, by the way, I've already gotten 3 messages about how Tyler Hero needs to get a new tattoo artist in his life. I am not a hater. So you do you, Tyler. You still rich. You still famous. You still good looking to the ladies. Go out there and do your thing, boy. Hopefully that's not the only part of the tattoo, and maybe that's why it is. Or maybe Tyler out here hitting them waist, boy. Maybe Tyler chest too broad. You know, too wide. I see you, boy. Anyway, you still rich and famous. It's all good, baby. But yeah, let's go Paul George. Any pro athlete I want to swap places with, Paul George. I know somebody's going to grill me on that one. Paul George, 1, because of the salary. 2, hairline's crispy. 3, you know, he takes a lot of heat on social media, bro. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of it is ill-placed because I feel like a lot of people just want to blame him for shit. Like, he carried the Pacers as far as he could. He did a lot of work for the Clippers when Kawhi went out. And this upcoming year, he might be an NBA champ, baby. The killer Kawhi's back. Killer Kawhi's coming back this season, boy. But yeah, man, I'll take Paul George. Paul George for the win. He also just got married in Italy, which, god damn it, that was one of my demarcators, right? Like, don't necessarily want to be married or want to be in an open marriage, because like if you're at that level, you know what I mean? Like, the DMs must be flooded at all times. Anyway, I'll take it, man. Being happy, not having to worry about anything like that, having somebody that you know you can count on. I'll take that, Paul George. Much love. All right, next question we got here. Hold on. Oh man, this is a hard one. It's actually not a hard one, because it could be a long story, but it's not a long story. It's not gonna be a long story because the answer is pretty simple. Question number 13. Yeah, we're here. We're here at that point. Such a simple question that has so many elaborate answers. What are your goals for 2022? So one of my goals was 100% to get the show popping off, right? Like, one of my big goals was to get the show. By the way, if you're watching this retroactively, hit that like button real quick. Anyway, one of my big goals was to get the show popping off, man. To get to the point where I can do this professionally, where I'm making money, get one step closer to that. Do I feel like that's happened? I don't think I can safely say that. I don't feel like I've taken a step forward. I don't feel like I've built an audience. I don't feel like I've done a good job of leveraging my social media presence to turn me talking into a microphone into profit. And I think I have to reassess that, right? Like, I need to do a better job of staying dedicated, staying consistent. That's more important sometimes than actually being great. And when I can get consistent, then I can focus on being great at all times. I would like to expand the show to more than just one day a week. I tried to do that for a little while with study hall and stuff like that. But I got to do better. But yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. Like, I'm letting Quidditch interfere with so much with this podcast. It's ridiculous. But I'm also dedicated to trying to make the best team that I possibly can, man. Like, to make the best team that I possibly can. And that my goal for 2022 is, of course, to get one step closer to making this like my full-time gig, to like living the dream. Like, my goal has not changed in my goal has not changed in probably like 20 years to become the greatest sportscaster of all time. And I gotta figure out if I'm getting one step closer to that this year, and I don't think I have just yet. But yeah, like and subscribe if you're paying attention. If you made it this far to the show, you clearly have a problem with listening to me in general, so you should probably like and subscribe. Anyway, moving on to the next question. That was sent in by my friend Lynn. The last two questions have been from my friend Lynn, which are great questions, because this year I've seen a bunch of my friends announce that they're having kids. I've seen my friends prepare for proposals. I've seen my friends get married. I've seen my friends buy houses. And I'm nowhere near that. And there's a natural part of you that's just like, man, because you spend a lot of time, like, if you have friends from like middle school and high school, or like you follow them on social media, you spend a lot of time doing the same. Like, you've all spent time progressing on the same timeline. Like, we've all spent time graduating from 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade to taking the same tests and getting grades through all of high school, going to college, graduating from college. We've all spent time on this same exact timeline. And then when you get out of college, the timeline changes. Or when you get to college, or the point where you're supposed to go to college, allegedly by like the general term, right? The timeline changes. And so it makes you wonder, like, your brain is just like, well, I feel like I'm getting left behind. And that's not how it goes. Everybody's on their own path. And I've had to teach myself that a lot of times too. Because like I mentioned before, like, I think my friends are living the dream, or like are trying to get on the path to living the dream. They are not chasing their dream jobs. And I think that my process of chasing my dream job is going to go, the process of me chasing my dream job is going to be something that takes a long time. So, yeah. And a lot of that time, I'm not going to be able to do the fancy stuff that my friends do, which has been a big thing. Not even fancy stuff, like the typical timeline of existence that my friends are on, trying to make this happen. When are we going to get to the question that it's going to be huge? Best memory / best Quidditch memory / moment. What a question. This is from my boy Ben Schuster. Shout out to him. Follow him on Twitter. All right. Let's get this over with. I'll explain a little bit about me as a Quidditch player. I've already talked about Quidditch a lot today, but I'm going to answer the questions that I was asked, the people that asked me. I, historically, am a loser in Quidditch. I think I have maybe like 20 wins in this sport that I've been playing for 6 years. Maybe it's over there. Maybe like 30 wins that I've had a hand in. Everything else, I've lost. And so I have to find, I keep coming back, one, for the desire to win, and two, the people that I play with are amazing. And so I guess this is the most recent one, but winning. So being on a team that started from the ground up, earning our way to nationals for the first time ever, playing in the toughest division playing in the toughest region in Quidditch in the world, in the Southwest division of USQ, playing in the toughest division in the world, and earning our way to nationals, having multiple games lost by 1 or 2 goals or off of the snitch pull, and then going into day 2 knowing that we only had 1 game to play and winning our last game. Winning our last game of nationals 4 years ago, the first time I ever went, and winning it with my friends. That was one of the best moments, and it also turned out to be the last time I would ever play Quidditch with probably the best person that I got out of the sport, in my friend Autumn, who I still talk to this day. She lives in LA and she's doing her thing. She's chasing her dream just like I am. She wants to be in film and everything, but she works for Disney right now, and I have a photo, and I remember asking her while we were sitting on the field, I was like, "Yo, Autumn, is this gonna be the last time we ever play Quidditch together?" And she looks at me, she's like, "Yeah, probably." And I remember that vividly, and it was the last time. It was the last time we ever played Quidditch together. So, and it was off of a win. So that was a really good moment for me. Also, it was all these things came together. We had the founders for our team. On the sideline for the Cosmos, on the sideline watching us play, cheering us on. And it was decided pretty decisively that we were going to win. And then we got the snitch pull for the first time at nationals that day. And it was a huge moment. For me personally, I know winning 1 game doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, because a lot of people who play Quidditch are very good. Some people have to be on the bad end of the score, and I, more often than not, am that player that's on the bad end of the score. And I try, and I'm working on making sure that that's not me, but the things just haven't aligned for me in my career. And luckily for me, I've had a lot of people in my life that have made it worth for me to come back. I've had people who, now I'm getting to the point where it's people who met each other playing Quidditch or getting married. I went to one of my friends' weddings, and they met each other playing Quidditch. So it was pretty dope. And it was a big part of their wedding as a whole, because it's the sport that brought us all together. And, you meet people. Now I'm at the point now where I've been playing for 6 years, but that 6-year gap is huge, because 6 years means that you play Quidditch with 18-year-olds. Means you play Quidditch with 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds, and you're 30. So it's been a journey. Best Quidditch memory is probably winning our first game for the Houston Cosmos at nationals. The other one The follow-up is probably one that happened at Nationals in Utah this past summer, this past May, right? This past May, and we were in Utah. First day did not go well. We lost all of our games on day one, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm the head coach of the team, so I'm the head coach of the team. We showed up to Nationals with 10 people because we basically had a massive amount of people who just flaked on us all season. And so it was a little tough for me personally, emotionally, because it was people that I thought I could. Some of the people were like people I thought I could depend on. Other people like ditched the team to go join another team. Like there are other teams in our region that popped up into existence that everybody wanted to play with because they were like the cool kids and stuff. People were actively choosing not to play for us. And it was tough because it felt like it was a referendum on who I was as a person. And it was other factors. But it's just frustrating when you're trying to recruit people. You feel like you're the only person on the team trying to recruit anybody. And you just get like the bad end of the stick all the time because you're the team that loses all the time, right? So like you got to have the toughest path to everything. And that's understandable, right? That's how sports work. That's just sports. But like, we had 10 people show up. It was tough, man. We had 10 people at Nationals in a sport that having a 21-man roster is tough to win with. And, day one happens. We get beat in every game. We lose to a team that we should have beat. We should have beat them in New Orleans. We should have beat them in Nationals. And we just did. I didn't play well. And that's what I thought was like the biggest thing because I spent most of the game. I spent most of the game passing the ball off to my teammates and trying to get them in a position to score because teams were, some teams were double teaming me, some teams were, some teams were sending beaters to key in on me, and it eliminated me from the game. And so I felt like I was setting my teammates up for failure on multiple occasions. So that happens throughout the course of the day. We go back to the hotel. I'm tired. I don't want to even talk to anyone, right? Let alone talk about playing on day two. Day two comes around. We're getting told by USQ, like we're getting asked by USQ, like, hey man, like, do y'all want to play tomorrow? Because we have a Division II tournament for the club teams, and the club teams are adults that are not in college, right? The club teams are anybody who's not in college that wants to play Quidditch. So they're a lot of talented people. We get out there. We're all eating pizza downstairs. Every team in the Southwest every team in the Southwest got to win except us. And it made me feel like, I was a bad coach. Like I do right now. It makes me feel like I was a bad coach like I do right now in MLQ. Made me feel like I was a bad coach. I just have never been one for excuses. And so having 10 people at Nationals was not a legitimate excuse for me. Yeah, man. And I go downstairs and everybody's eating and stuff like that. And they're eating pizza. I'm like really hungry because we haven't eaten all day because we had to play all day on Saturday. And then Sunday rolls around and I'm sitting down. It's Saturday night. We're sitting downstairs in the lobby for the hotel that we're in. Very nice hotel, by the way. Shout out Salt Lake City. Did not know you had such nice things. We're chilling out. And I'm thinking that I go downstairs and I'm like, I don't want to play because I don't want us to go out there and I don't want to feel losing again. Like I don't want to like lose again. And I look around and everybody else is on the team like, yeah, I want to play. And then a couple of people were like, yeah, like we were all talking about it before you got down here, and we're like, yeah, nah, man, we gotta go out there and play to win for Ashton. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, dude, like. You're the reason that we're on this team. You're the reason that we play so hard. And they felt like they had let me down. And I was like, I felt like I let you down. Like, I felt like I failed you as a coach and put you in a situation to fail. And so it was like one of the nicest memories because, I don't know, man. It was nice to have teammates that were like looking out for me too, right? And not to say that I haven't had teammates that have looked out for me, but it felt nice to know that people knew that I was working hard because I've been working hard to try and be a good leader. I've been working really hard to try and make my team better, but yeah, just like the circumstances are tough. And I'm just, like I said before, I'm not about excuses, but it was a really nice moment for me to hear, like as a coach, you're just like, oh yeah, like we're going to go out there and we're going to play for Ashton. And I'm like, nah, dude, you got to play for the team. Play for everybody else. And then the next day we woke up and we won a game, giving us our second win at Nationals as a team. And as the Houston Cons was in our last one. We'll talk about that later. We're coming up towards the end on this one. By the way, I'm not crying. My nose is literally runny. If I talk too long, my nose gets like really runny. If you've watched the podcast before, you've seen it happen a bunch. Question number 15. Oh, this is who's a player you admire? Yeah. This one, that last question was sent in. Who sent that last one? Oh, that was Ben Schulster who sent that last question in. This question was sent in by Vincent Reyes, somebody I'm playing in Quidditch tomorrow, ironically enough. Who's a player you admire? Man. Trying to think about like all the players that I've come across, man, and think about the positive interactions that people say about them and stuff like that. Like, so it seems like as time goes on, it's hard to find the players that people like that are also good at the same time. That are at the level that you're just like, oh yeah, that person's amazing. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me look at something real quick. I need to hurry up and get out of here anyway. So I still have to drive to League City to go check on the field. Anyway, let's see. Man, I'm trying to look at these team names and think about anybody that pops out to me. Man. Trying to think of somebody, because like honestly, this is the framework of the person that I'm trying to think of. I know that I'm bigger than everybody that I play against. I'm taller than most of the people I'm going to play against. I have all these physical advantages. My hands are like twice the size of the average person. I'm not fast or anything like that. This sport, the sport of Quidditch is built around speed, and that shows itself all the time. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's probably like going to be one of these. It's probably going to be a female chaser. In the sense that, oh, you know who it is? Oh man, if I say her name, it won't make much sense because it's hard to explain what an awesome feeling it is to just talk to her in general. Person I admire in Quidditch. Person that grinds, man. So I was like, the person I'm thinking of saying is Leanne Dillman, who plays for Boston. And the reason I say her name is because, one, she's a fantastic person to hang out with, and she's super positive. And she's been super positive despite the fact that I feel like people know that she's been robbed of opportunities. Like her whole Team USA situation was kind of obvious. And I feel like, and I don't know how many people spoke up for her and all that kind of stuff like that, but like her desire to like not conform to like what this other group of people thought about her really reminded me like, hey man, like we're not all supposed to like fall in line and play this certain way, right? We're all supposed to have like our own unique style. And I feel like I've also seen Leanne do the most impressive thing ever. She came to Breakfast Taco from Boston and played for us one time when we actually won Breakfast Taco, and she played for us and she corralled an entire team of chasers inside their keeper zone for like 3 minutes while our shitty chasers, including myself out there on the field, just refused to go and run and score the ball. But it was one of the most impressive things, still to one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in Quidditch. So player I admire for sure, Leanne Dillman, because she's been able to stay positive. She's clearly playing at like an elite level. She's one of the best beaters in the world. And She's truly amazing. Carlos, what are you crying at hearting emojiing in the chat? You have to be more specific because Leanne is amazing. So I really, really, and then she's like undersized too. Like she's smaller than most of the beaters she goes up against. And she clearly has like a ton of power in a very small body, and I always appreciate that. She's also like a person of color in a sport that is predominantly white. She's also a woman. She's also a woman in a sport that is predominantly male and male dominated. So, yeah, somebody who's like probably the polar opposite of me, other than the fact that we are both people of color. Leanne Dillman for sure is a person that I admire within the realm of Quidditch. I almost said Maya Hennenbaugh, but I don't admire her. I hate her. Let's see. All right, moving on to the next question. Yo. We're moving on. We're almost, let me see. Let me count how many are left. One of my favorite questions is, oh my God, we have so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we only have 7 left. Yeah, let's do it. Who's someone you've always wanted to play with? That's the next question. This is also from Vincent Reyes. This is weird. This is a question, like, in general that I've never even contemplated, to be honest with you. It's something that's never crossed my mind, TBH, in terms of, like, who's someone I've always wanted to play with. I know a lot of people, like, want to play with, like, the Cav guys and stuff like that, but I've played on fantasy tournaments with them, and I've spent most of my career playing against them. A loose term of, quote-unquote, playing against them, a.k.a. they've been beating the shit out of every team that I've ever been on, which has only been one. But someone I've always wanted to play with. Man. I don't know, man. Like, this is a tough question in general. It'd be really dope to probably play with Lulu Zoo or something like that. I've never. She go crazy. She go hard in the paint. Like playing with a beater that you know is like gonna make immaculate throws, and all you have to do is just keep running towards the hoops, and the hoops will be open. All you have to do is like my dream scenario is probably be playing with like crazy elite level beaters, which has been something I've had the privilege of having played with multiple times over. It's just been a factor of like consistently having to play with elite level beaters. So it's like really nice to be able to do that. So probably like Lulu Zoo or something. She's dope as fuck. And Team USA. Probably one of the few Team USA players I've never played a game with or against. I've never played against Lulu, so. This is a good one. Here we go. Yeah. What's your favorite Quidditch jersey? And I actually brought that one to the show. So this is from my friend Christina. She's cool. We both wear the same number. She's really dope. Congratulations to her. She got her master's degree and passed bartending school in the same summer. One of those is more impressive than the other, obviously, by a lot. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to pick it up real quick. It's like right off screen, and I'll tell you the story behind it. All right. So, here it is. This shirt. Sorry, this jersey. This jersey. Proof that it is a jersey. It has my number on the back. If you guys don't know, I used to play high school basketball. and I used to wear the jersey number 50 because I was 5'0" in the paint. The police. Anyway, that was a dumb joke. I was not a good I was not good enough of a defender to be like, I'm 5'0". You know what I mean? So that jersey, this jersey right here, if you haven't guessed, is the first one I ever got 6 years ago. And I've held on to it, including the other jersey that I have that actually has the Cosmos logo on it. That's a long sleeve version of this one. And it's the first jersey I ever had. It's the first jersey I ever played Quidditch in, and it was huge. Obviously, it started me to where I am right now, but also it started this like long path of like playing this sport, trying to get better, meeting amazing people along the way, befriending a good chunk of them, and going and seeing things that I never thought I would see. Like I never thought I'd drive from Houston, Texas to Salt Lake City, Utah and see all the beautiful things in between. And I did that this summer, or this past year. So that was pretty dope. But this jersey, this stupid blue BCG dry fit shirt started it all for me. It's huge. It's amazing. And I got another jersey that's my favorite one too, and I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about this. This one. So it has my name spelled properly on the back, which is nice. But this is the last Cosmos jersey I will ever wear. Because the team that I've played for the past 6 years is not going to exist next year. And I have a lot of great teammates that made that team what it is today. And it's time to move on to make something better, to make something even better, and be a title contender and find new friends that don't necessarily play in the Houston area. But this jersey served me well for a really long time, for 2 years, I think. And I waited 2 years to wear this jersey, by the way, because we didn't get to wear these the season that we got them. They were supposed to come out. We were supposed to get them before the 2020 season started, and then it got wiped away. We couldn't wear them at Nationals. And then we got to wear them all of the following season. So it was pretty dope. I got to wear this jersey for 1 year, and I had to wait a really long time to wear it. But it was worth it. It was a rough season, probably the roughest Quidditch season I've ever been a part of, no lie. But it was worth it when it was all said and done. We got to Nationals. We got a win. We were one game away from the club national championship. If we had kept playing, I think we were like in the semifinals or something like that, and we could have won it. But we had too many injuries, and I got to play my last season as a Houston Cosmos player with some of the best players to ever wear that jersey, some of the best people to wear that jersey ever. So, shout out. Yeah, favorite Quidditch jersey, first and last one. Get it? That was a good one. Anyway, moving on. Next question. Not last one. I'm not retiring yet. I have contemplated that though. Like I've been telling myself, like Ashton, you can't be a 30-year-old guy playing Quidditch. I'm like, yeah, but like Augie's been playing for like 10 years. You know, he just started playing a lot younger than I did. So why can't I just keep playing until he's done? Anyway, this is a good one. This is from Emily Hickmont. Shout out to her. Favorite MLQ mascot and why? This is a good one. So let's have a real conversation. Let's rap a little bit, kids. Here, MLQ mascot's pretty clutch. I'm not gonna lie. The one that and some of them look really dope. I feel like I wish I had my screen share to be able to pull it up and show you. But MLQ teams, Major League Quidditch teams, like we just need a splash page where it has all of the logos on it. Let's see, but MLQ logos. So I know the Outlaws. So I'll eliminate them as to why. The Outlaws logo I know has been done before. I've seen it. And there's a bunch of teams. Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in the softball community, there's a shit ton of teams called the Outlaws. The Boston Forge, truly unique name. They have a really dope mascot. I really do enjoy. I don't know what the name of their mascot is, to be honest with you. Is it on their page? The Boston Forge. Assistant coach, managers. It does not have the name of the mascot on it. Anyway, so they got that. The Charlotte Aviators love their colors because it's like off-putting to the point where it's like these are truly unique colors within the realm of sport. Cleveland Rift like the color scheme for sure. Like how they really embrace the rock and roll aspect of their team. The Detroit Innovators, up until they dropped that tank top where their mascot, Cogsworth, had been hitting leg day. I was kind of out on the whole Cogsworth thing. I thought it was a unique looking logo, and I do like their team colors, but like the whole mascot thing wasn't really there for me. The Indianapolis Intensity, like, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna just move on. Kansas City Stampede, bro. I saw a photo like 2 months ago of the stamp of an old pair of Stampede logos, and it was old Stampede shorts back when they used to have red and yellow tops that had like the little streaks, the stripes that went down the middle, which is something that they used on the Legends logos or Legends uniforms. And they used to wear black shorts. They were just straight black shorts, and on the corner of it, it was the bull for Stampede. I don't know what his name is or what him, because he's a bull. I don't know what the Stampede logo was, but it was in gold. So it was like a bull snorting with steam coming out of his nose, and they were like mirrored to each other, and they were they were embossed in a circle in gold on black shorts, and it looked amazing. But that's got to be like top 5. Like Stampede's logo's got to be top 5 in MLQ. League City Legends, honestly, man, it would be too easy to pick the Legends logo. I feel like it's pretty dope. I feel like Astronaut's pretty dope. Anybody can be behind that helmet, which is the cool part about it for sure. And then, of course, I like how our uniforms used to really embrace the whole like rocket ship taking off type shit. That was really cool, but definitely not like a top 5 for me. Minneapolis Monarchs, I do like the fact that their uniforms, their sleeves are the wings. I feel like that was a really good embracing of it, but cannot pick the Monarchs logo. The Curse logo is dope because it has the spikes in the skull. Like, that's like the real thing that I think takes it over the top. Like, they're really out there pulling voodoo. They gave them the Mardi Gras colors, which is clutch as well. The New York Titans. Wow, am I spazzing? I can't picture the New York Titans logo. That's really weird. So, no. Ottawa Black Bears, like it. Classic bear logo. Bears scratching at you and creating little, cuts and everything like that. Rochester Whiteout, top 3. Top 3, hands down. So, we got the Kansas City Stampede Bull. We got the Rochester Whiteout because that of course that deer has a lot of significance, and when they do the rainbow colored one like they did for the Pride t-shirts and stuff like that, that shit was dope. Love it a lot. I really do. Rochester Whiteout, shout out to them for doing that shit. For putting the Pride version of it out. I like that a lot. I also like the deer. Obviously, we all have as Harry Potter fans a deep connection to the deer, to the stag, if you will. And that weighs in. San Antonio Soldados, I like their whole scheme. I like the branding, like the social media branding aspect of the Soldados a lot, actually. The Soldaditos, my bad, I didn't call them right. The Toronto Raiders, obviously, that's number 1, obviously, and a lot of it is due to the whole embracing the Trash Pandas concept, and they have like classic dope colors, red and black. I like so I got Toronto Raiders number 1. Rochester Whiteout number 2, and then number 3 is the Kansas City Stampede Bull. Really like it a lot. The Admirals, I do like how they have the Admirals. I really wish we had a pirate-themed team. Pirate-themed team in MLQ to counteract the Admirals. But yeah, that's my favorite. I like the Trash Panda embracing around the Toronto Raiders, and I feel like that's what really takes it over the top for me. And that they, like, a raccoon being your team mascot is like super rare in sports, and I appreciate that. We got a couple more. I think it's 2 more. Oh man. Yeah, we're almost done here. Don't worry, guys. We're not almost done. We got like four more questions. So I got a question. This is from Amber. I'm not going to tell you how Amber and I are friends. How she asked, how do I think the NCAA reshuffle will go? So obviously, I think it's going to go well for the athletes because once the athletes get into overall better markets in general, it's gonna produce more revenue pass for them. And honestly, it gets us onto the track that we need to be getting on. And I've said this on the regular podcast multiple times over, and I'll say it again. We're going the right direction. We're getting to the point where there's super leagues. We're getting to the point where there are conferences that are so powerful, it makes no sense for them to adhere to the rules, the imaginary rules the NCAA has laid down, and the NCAA needs to cease to exist. So, and I get that that's not going to work really well because that will mean that the teams that are at the top of the ladder will be the ones that are dictating things that don't make money or not good ideas for the smaller teams in smaller markets, teams that are not competing for the national championship every single year, teams that are leagues away from being even in bowl contention, right? And I'm not even talking about Power 5 schools. I'm talking about like Ohio University, not like Group of 5 schools will be affected by the changing of the power. But I think overall we can be in a better place. Could there be something worse than the NCAA out there? Yes. Am I willing to find out? Yes. Am I willing to find out? Is there going to be something far worse that pops up outside of the NCAA? Of course. I really do. I want to find out how bad it is. I want to find out because it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad before it gets worse. Also, we're still in the process of feeling out NIL deals because what was it? Like a couple weeks ago was the 1-year anniversary of the birth of name, image, and likeness sponsorship. So we're 1 year into it, and so far we've got 18-year-olds that have millions of dollars on the line. Like there's the number one quarterback prospect for not Arch Manning's class, but the class after him, or it's the current class, not Arch Manning's class. That they're talking about him having like $6 million worth of NIL deals. That's big money. Don't care how much of that money gets paid up front. Don't know, but that's big money for an 18-year-old. Just like it is for an NBA player when they go into the league as well. But yeah, the NCAA reshuffling could open up the pathway of what we need, and that's embracing of the academy system, where if you want to be a pro athlete, you go to a team's academy and you let them develop you to be the best athlete that you can possibly be, and you find out if you got what it takes to be a pro early on in your best earning years possible, and then if you want to go to college, you can go to college type deal. But giving this much power and this much control over student athletes to the NCAA, they've proven time and time again they're not capable of doing that. They shouldn't be in charge. And the reshuffling is going to reallocate more and more power into one consolidated area because now the commissioners of the Big Ten and the commissioners of the SEC are, in my opinion, more powerful than the NCAA because they have the ears of the top 20 schools in the country when it comes to college football, or they have the ears of the teams that the NCAA needs to make their money that they don't deserve. So, anybody can set up games. Anybody can figure out how to set up stadiums and shit like that. So, yeah, that's it. Anyway, that answers that question real quick. Shout out to Amber for sending that one in. Let's go. Here we go. Power through these last ones because this is a sports-centric one, which I appreciate a lot. This is... I don't even know who this is from. Did I write it down? Top 5 favorite players. This is from Ryan. Which Ryan? Shout out Ryan. I didn't write your last name down. Sorry. So I would avoid saying it on the stream. That's why I didn't write it down. Top 5 players to watch in any sport, and they said past or present. So I'm one of those guys that like I follow multiple. Oh shit. Hold on, sorry. Everybody's sending me stuff. Jesus Christ. Hop into the chat, guys. Anyway, I'm one of those guys that like I follow multiple Instagram accounts that do solo cams. on different athletes on football fields. So like I follow an account that specializes in defensive linemen and their pass rushing techniques when they do and don't get to the quarterback. So I enjoy watching that. But in particular, obviously, I enjoy watching Aaron Donald. I enjoy watching Adon, the Don. Who else do I watch? So other major sports. Oh man. I enjoy watching Israel Adesanya fight currently right now just because his style is so smooth. GSP is like my favorite MMA fighter of all time. His ability to break the souls of his opponents, and I think that you can safely say that is something that he does whenever he goes up against people. So I got Aaron Donald, Georges St. Pierre in MMA. Trying to think about. I like watching A'ja Wilson play in the WNBA. She's smooth with it. Very smooth basketball player. And I feel like one of the people that, although she does a lot of things that should get people's attention, everybody's focused on, like it's like scientifically been proven. Like people have done studies on like who gets talked about in the WNBA and stuff like that. But A'ja Wilson is the face of the WNBA. Like when Sue Bird's done after this season, it'll be Diana Taurasi, who, a lot of people haven't really said is the face of the WNBA, but it'll be A'ja Wilson, who is hilarious. Like legitimately gets in a fake Twitter beast with one of her teammates, Dearica Camby, and is a part of one of the best teams in the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces. So I get A'ja, like watching her play when I watch the Aces play, and man, football wise, I'm trying to think of NBA players that I enjoy watching play basketball. I enjoyed watching Zach Randolph play a lot. Paul Millsap, I enjoy watching a lot. If you can't tell what the correlation between those guys is, it's because in my brain, I thought if I ever got any basketball skill, it would look or grew to like a ridiculous height. I could potentially have skills that match those guys. I like watching Al Horford play basketball. I know that's underrated, but I was really rooting for Al Horford to win an NBA championship with the Celtics. I think I was pretty open about that on the team, so I'll go or on the podcast. So I'll go Al Horford for sure. A'ja Wilson, Georges St. Pierre for MMA, Aaron Donald for football, A'ja Wilson for the WNBA, and Al Horford for professional basketball. Baseball players I enjoy watching play. Can't really think of any, bro. Like, not even gonna lie. Juan Soto's cool and everything like that, but I don't consistently watch baseball enough to be like, you have a unique style that I enjoy watching a ton. Man. Trying to think, because I think the next logical thing for me to point out would be a wide receiver or a defensive back, or a linebacker, because I enjoy watching Bobby Wagner play. He's my favorite football player. Yeah, I'll go Bobby Wagner. Yeah, put Bobby on the top 5. Bobby Wagner, top 5 players that I like to watch. All those guys are current players. I think I disrespected the merit of the rules and shit like that by not picking a player from the past. But all I can think of like people who people I've looked up highlights for recently on YouTube and watched actively to try and see what they're about. Top 5 players to watch, not counting World Cup or regionals. Do you have a favorite quid tourney you enjoy going to each year? This is also from Ryan. I should know which Ryan this is. I don't know. Favorite quid tournament to go to every year. Damn. I'm trying to think. It used to be Thermopylae Cup because we won. We got to the finals in the first one, and then we won the second one. It was a lot of fun, and it felt like it was going to be a tournament that was going to be helpful for developmental teams. And then it just didn't happen anymore because it just stopped happening because Victoria Spartans has kind of folded, and it's hard for the person who is very passionate about Quidditch in general, trying to spread it in Victoria, like Texas, was just, he was so far away because he's like moved to Houston. Alejo's dope as fuck. I do look forward to TSL. TSL is, especially now, I'll tell you this much right now, like tournaments, it's hard for me to look forward to them because there's so much stress sometimes. But I look forward to, I was looking so forward to TSL. I look forward to Slam to Claus every year. Slam to Claus, which is a fantasy tournament held by Sam Houston. But TSL is something I look forward to every single year because like the leadership stuff is so stressful. I really struggle, like I said before, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, to focus on playing Quidditch. Like just getting good at playing Quidditch again. And when somebody else is in charge, it's a part of my brain that I don't have to activate. Like I just got to focus on making good passes, making good cuts, making good catches and scoring and stuff like that, and playing good defense and trying to play good defense. I'm god awful at fucking defense, bro. But yeah, like trying to play defense. So I look forward to TSL a lot. Texas Secede League Quidditch, which is it's a joke. There's not actually in support of the Texas Secede people, but which by the way, I've worn the tank top that I have from my friend Beth's league. She designed Texas Secede League earlier, but like TSL was really fun because it felt like all my friends got to relax again. Because when we play MLQ, everything is so serious and everything is so dire. Every single game is like do or die in some situations, right? So we had we had that stuff go on, bro. Like that's literally what it came down to. Like it was tough. It really was. It was tough overall. And when you play TSL, all you got to do is focus on playing. And I feel like I had it took me back to what it was like the first 2 years that I played Quidditch, and I just got to go out there and have fun. And it feels like more and more as time goes on, like things get really serious really fast. So yeah, TSL. Not counting World Cup or regionals, do you have a favorite Quid tourney you enjoy going to every year? Okay, this is I know who Ryan is. My bad. I just don't call you. Nobody calls you by your first name, bro. That's what it is. If you watch this later, that's why. Hold on. Hold on. So worst and best sports prediction, and by the way, the person who sent this in had enough respect for me as a person to pretend as if I had never made a bad prediction, which is hilarious, which I obviously have. But he was like, if you've made a bad sports prediction, what was it? And I can safely say my worst sports prediction was out of the 2020 season with the Houston Texans. I predicted they would win the AOC South for the sake of getting loose and getting wild on the show, and then they proceeded to lose 10 games by 1 touchdown or less. They lost 10 games by like 1 possession or less, and that was tough. That was tough because it was like every week I was showing me like, hey man, like they did all this stuff right, but they can't stop anybody on 3rd down, and then everybody just started being like, oh, they just suck, and I'm like, no, dude. Like, pay attention, like, watch the games. I get it. Everybody doesn't have time to watch the games. Everybody doesn't have time to do all that bullshit like that or whatever. But, like, watch the games. Like, they don't suck ass. Like, and I still believe this. Their defense had really good moments. Their defense was really high in terms of, like, generating turnovers, but they were god-awful at defending the run. And teams just ran on them, and it killed all the time and all the clock. They had Deshaun out there and all that kind of stuff like that. It was Bill O'Brien's last season, and they couldn't figure it out. So yeah, and then that was when I started my descent of like separating myself from the Texans because the firing of Bill O'Brien was like one thing, but then all the stuff happening with Deshaun, and I was like, I'm not trying to associate myself with that, bro. I'm not trying to be out here caping for a guy who clearly did some shit that was fucked up. Unlike my barber, by the way. Like, my barber legitimately is still out here trying to, like, cape for a dude that, like, it's very clear that he put those women in positions where they were in, like, dire situations, right? Like, they were in situations where, like, yeah, you could say no, but you really can't, right? And to not be able to address that shows like a fundamental misunderstanding of like the position that women find themselves in all the time. So it's weird. And I've talked to him about it multiple times over because he like doesn't get the logic of like Deshaun Watson was wrong for what he did. Anyway, and he's all but admitted to it. That's whatever. Hasn't admitted to it because it's allegedly. Best sports prediction. Damn. Would it be? There was one season where like the season the Pittsburgh Steelers were undefeated for like 16 weeks, or like they were undefeated for like 12 weeks or something. I was like, that team's not making the playoffs, and they didn't. Yeah, like I was like that team. Like I knew that they were gonna fall off a cliff because I saw them play the Texans and I saw how they played the Texans. I was like, that team's not good. That team's ass, and they're not gonna make the playoffs. So that's what happened, and they fully collapsed. Wait, no. I think that was. Man, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to remember if that's what happened. But yeah, it was predicting one year where like the Steelers looked like they were going to go to the playoffs and they didn't. So that was probably my best sports prediction. I've predicted the right Super Bowl winner for the past like 3 years, and I've also had like a 70% money line rate on games straight up in the NFL, and then I've had a 57% money line rate straight up on, or 57% against the spread on every game. Like if I was able to bet on every single game, I got like 57% of the spread picks correct in the NFL. So it's pretty cool. Worst prediction, one of my worst predictions was probably that like Antonio Brown wasn't such a bad guy and that people were trying to orchestrate against him. And it's very clear that Antonio Brown's just an asshole. This is the last one. It's a football-centric one, so it feels very fitting to finish on this one. All right, last one. Who is the best QB in the NFL? And why is it Lamar Jackson? Ooh, Jackson. So one, Lamar Jackson may be the most important individual player in the NFL for sure. Do I think Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL? No. Like out of the, it could be Justin Herbert. It could be Patrick Mahomes. More than likely, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes because historically he has proven that he can do it with a multitude of players, and I think that's a massive factor in terms of like overall success. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes being the best quarterback in the NFL, and Lamar Jackson being pretty damn good, but having to carry that much is intense. Having to carry that much as an individual is pretty intense. So yeah. On that note, that is all I got. That's a very whimperish type way to end the stream, but I appreciate everybody who showed up throughout the course of the night. Shout out to all the people who are going to watch in the near and distant future of this podcast. Hopefully, looking back on it retroactively and being like, "Oh man, this is what Ashton used to be like before he became the greatest sportscaster of all time." I talked about a lot of personal stuff today, and I feel pretty good about it, man. Like I honestly, man, like other than the fact that like I am still technically very much so a broke boy, I feel pretty good about myself, man. I'd love to be a few pounds lighter, but I'm honestly, man, I feel like my life is going pretty well. Other than like the whole, like not being like a big time sportscaster. That could be worse. That comes with time. I've learned by listening to other people's path into sports media, it happens quickly and it happens to like anyone, right? But it happens to people who are trying, right? And versatility is important. And I'm trying to work on my versatility as a whole. Trying to add more content to this page, trying to add more content to this Twitch channel and this YouTube stream so that it's not just me talking into a camera, bro. Other than that, shout out to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I really appreciate you for taking time out of your day to talk to me and wish me a happy birthday because 30 years ago today, one of the greatest moments in human history happened. I was born. Anyway, we out of here. Let me play the theme song on the way out. Like we supposed to. All right, y'all. Make sure you stay safe out there. Take a shot from me. Hit me up on Twitter at FB_playbook. Hit me up on Instagram at the Ashton Forever. That's the same name I have on TikTok. Follow your boy on TikTok. We getting one step closer every single day to 1,000 followers so we can go live on TikTok. That's pretty impressive for a dude who really ain't posting shit on TikTok. So I appreciate that. Other than that, wash your hands, wash your ass, and stay hydrated. And go home, Roger.